Welcome to America's Day at the Races. So glad to have you with us on this spectacular Sunday afternoon. This program brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. We have a great card ahead still at beautiful Belmont Park, but on the heels of a spectacular Super Saturday here yesterday. I'm Acacia Courtney, joined by Paul LoDuca. And Paul, what a day we had yesterday, highlighted, of course, by the Jockey Club Gold Cup, but some spectacular performances from start to finish. Yeah,
really spectacular performances. Horses that we're going to see, obviously, when it comes to Breeders' Cup Friday and Saturday. And I think that I loved about it was you saw a champion sprinter in Imperial Hit get tested to the fullest. A champion in Midnight Bisou got tested for a little bit till deep in stretch. And then, obviously, a great rendition of the Jockey Club Gold Cup with a little bit of a twist at the end, right?
There was a inquiry and objection. Vino Rosso crossed the wire first. He was disqualified. Code of honor, facing older horses for the first time. Your Travers winner for Shug McGahee, elevated to win the Jockey Club Gold Cup. But we do have a few races still left to go here at Belmont on this Sunday, beginning with race number 3. Even money currently to the inside on Pecan Patty, stretching out and going back to the main track to go a mile and a 16th in this non-winners of 2 claiming event. Yeah,
this is a filly that Jeremiah Englehart claimed from Danny Gargan 3 back and then gave this horse a lot of time. Not very much. Well, you see a trainer claim a horse for $35,000 and then try to give the horse time to get this horse ready. But when you look, this filly has run okay in the starter allowance, but you know what, hasn't been the right call. So now let's go back to where we got her for, maybe a little bit less, 25, and that's why she's fave.
Back to the drawing board, if you will. This field of 5 up ahead. We'll head trackside to Maggie Wolfendale to check in as these horses are warming up on track. Maggie?
Thanks, Acacia. We'll take a look at the one you're just talking about. That's Pecan Patty as she returns to the dirt and will go the mile and a 16th here. And I think that's where she's had the most success of her career now that she is third off a layoff for Jeremiah Englehart. Last time, too, she got a little wound up back in the paddock, and she seems a little bit more even-keeled today, and she looks the most fit that I've seen her. But again, as her running lines would show, it's not often easy to claim off Danny Gargan, even if you're Jeremiah Englehart. As the other horse who just looked best to me is the other choice in here, and that's number 5, Solitary Gem. She has that name because she only has one eye, so cleverly named by my good friend Leah Giramati and some of her owners way back when. But I just thought she looked very, very good heading into this effort here. Yeah, she gets on her toes. She typically is that way. And as a physical, she's the one that looks most suited to this mile and a 16th distance as she'll stretch out from the 7. Now, coming in from out of town is number 6, Painter Fest, who did take some early money here for trainer Tim Hills, who I have the utmost respect for. But she broke her maiden last time in an off-the-turf event on a sloppy racetrack while setting the early pace at Monmouth. And to me, well, you can never trust off the turf races that much. And 2, she looks like a horse that would love an off track too. She's a little bit nervous in the paddock. She was accompanied by the pony the entire time whilst being there. So I'm kind of pleased to see she's drifting up a little bit because I just didn't think she belonged around the same price as Pecan Patty and Solitary Gem. Acacia?
Maggie, thank you. Looks like maybe the money might be right in here, Paul, but do you think Pecan Patty's a little bit vulnerable to the inside?
I think a tiny bit vulnerable. I agree with Maggie wholeheartedly. I think the 5's the horse to beat in here besides the 1, because if you look at her races, they're good here. And her best races, I know she doesn't love to win them, but her 2 best seconds are here at Belmont. To beat Pecan Patty, I think the 5's the only one.
Irad Ortiz taking the mount, stretching out in distance. Looks like just one more horse to load here for the first race on our program. There's race 3. We'll head up to Larry Collmus for the call.
They're off. Painter Fest on the outside, Solitary Gem and Pecan Patty. It's these 3 out for the front with Chillin' with Friends away running in 4th, and the trailer is First Dawn up the backstretch. And it's Painter Fest and Pecan Patty. And Painter Fest has got a half-length lead up the backstretch. Moving on the outside is Chillin' with Friends, now up to grab 3rd position, a length and a half clear of Solitary Gem. First Dawn is the trailer up the backstretch through a 23.4 opening quarter mile. It's Painter Fest in front, the leader by 3/4 of a length. Pecan Patty second and down at the rail. Right behind them, Chillin' with Friends tracks the pace-setting pair, 3rd by 2. Solitary Gem right next to First Dawn, who now grabs 4th to the inside of Solitary Gem, continuing their run for the far turn. So up top here, it is Painterfest through a 46.85 half. Chillin' with Friends is now grabbed second on the outside. Pecan Patty is back running in third at the rail and is looking for a place to go. Just steadied hard there, did Pecan Patty, and now has lost third to Solitary Gem on the outside. First Dawn is last. Around the far turn, it is Painterfest the leader. Chillin' with Friends on the outside second. Solitary Gem coming up there 3 wide in third. And behind the leaders, Pecan Patty is bottled up in fourth, but riding the rail to the top of the stretch. Then First Dawn. They're coming to the top of the lane here. Solitary Gem has circled up on the outside and now pokes ahead in front. Toward the inside, it's Chillin' with Friends. Pecan Patty is still trying, and now she's going to split those two rivals, and here she comes. It has not been an easy trip yet, but Pecan Patty's going to do it here. Pecan Patty has taken the lead and is going to pull away in hand. An adventurous run for Pecan Patty, but got it done. And then it was Solitary Gem, First Dawn, and Chillin' with Friends.
An adventurous run indeed, an eventful race for your favorite Pecan Patty, but certainly much the best here, Paul.
Yeah, down the backside, Brian Hernandez did a phenomenal job on Jose Ortiz, sort of squeezing him multiple times on the 6 and sort of playing cat and mouse with them. And the one was so much the best in here because she had to make like 3 or 4 different moves. Jose tried to get her off the rail on the backside, and then he finally said, you know what, I'm just going to back off and let everybody go. And his brother, Irad, you could see he was flagging the 5 with his left-handed stick to try to get her away from all of these horses. But wow, when Pecan Patty kicked in, it was over. I mean, she had to be 20 lengths the best in here, and the 5 was 10 lengths the best of the other group in here, and the brothers run 1-2.
No surprise there to see the Ortiz brothers exacta here as Pecan Patty, your favorite, gets it done here in race number 3. It's a beautiful Sunday here at Belmont Park, and we'll check in with our weather and track conditions presented by Piranha Fly Spray, the preferred fly spray of Belmont Park. Piranha on, pests gone, especially this time of year. You need that. Main track is fast, the turf is firm. What more could you ask for? So we got the favorite home in the 3rd, but Paul, we still have quite a few races still to come here on this Sunday. We'll bring you races 4 to 9 still at Belmont Park. It's fast and firm at Churchill Downs for their closing day, and we'll bring you races 4 to 10, as well as the Grade 2 Zenyatta from Santa Anita. Fast track there. That'll go as race 5, but we've got a couple of different tracks in play this afternoon.
And you got to remember now, they had a pick 5 carryover in the middle pick 5 last night. The late one pick at Churchill Downs paid $15,000. The middle one carried over. So race number 6, there's the $80,000 carryover, and it's closing day. They got to give it out.
It'd be pretty interesting to check in at Churchill Downs with the jockey, trainer, and owner standings as well. But Pecan Patty gets the job done here at Belmont Park. Stay with us, and we'll be back after this break here at beautiful Belmont.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. With Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf and star performers both at home and abroad, Warfront's success as an international super sire is unmatched. Recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach and Preakness Stakes hero War of Will. In the sales ring, his $2.4 million sale topper at Keeneland September was the highest priced yearling sold in North America last year. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races, brought to you by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. A great Sunday still ahead here at beautiful Belmont Park as we wrap up race number 3, where Pecan Patty, much the best, gets the job done for trainer Jeremiah Engelhardt. And she was your favorite, but it seemed like a formful race here, Paul.
Yeah, they really hammered this late. It looked like 1-5 on paper, and that's exactly what happened. Congratulations, the filly by a Fleet Express out of the Meadow Lake mare, Dignified Diva. Jimmy Riccio, congratulations. Jose Ortiz, just got to persevere when you have trips like that.
Ortiz exacta there as we check in with the pick 5 follow along, 3 legs down. You had a price in race 2 with Cool Boy, a little bit of a price in the first as well.
Yeah.
Barika finally getting the job done.
It's really going to be tough how race 2 plays. Cool Boy was 15-1 on the morning line, got bet down to 780, so we'll see how that horse plays, but he's still got 2 more legs to go.
2 more legs to go. You have a nice size pool
Yeah.
there. As we flip the page a bit, we're going to head down to Kentucky. In Louisville at Churchill Downs as we look at race number 4 coming up, 6.5 furlongs on the main track, a $20,000 non-winners of 2 claiming race. You have the number 11 Ginny B as your favorite, currently 5-2, taking money with Chantal Sutherland 4.
Yeah, this one for Steve Margolis having a okay meet. He's only sent out 3 runners, 1 winner. Chantal hasn't had a win yet at Churchill Downs. I actually like a horse in this race. I know that Acacia's got a lot of these, and that's the 8, Stellar Stiletto.
I do have a lot of those.
Yeah, and if you look at this horse, the horse is 1 for 15. 2 races at Churchill Downs, 2/3. But you see a race where the horse was 189-1. Yes, last time out 189-1 at Kentucky Downs. And on the turf course, horse does not like the turf. But if you look at the back dirt form on this horse for Adolfo Macias, it is not bad at all. And you're getting a decent price at 8-1. And if this horse runs any of her Churchill Downs races and her Keeneland Maiden 50 race, that Keeneland Maiden 50 race is better than any of the fillies on the form.
And she was on the turf last time. It's important to note Kentucky Downs is a quirky track too. Some horses love it. Some horses just can't get a hold of it with some of the different types of turns and different formation of it. So perhaps a race that you can just kind of throw out in there. Money now coming to the inside on the number 1 Lucky Visit, turning back in distance. Broke her maiden at Churchill last time out. Now turning back in distance. Corey Landry, your perennial leading rider there at Churchill.
Yeah, and Randy Matthews, the conditioner here, he doesn't have a lot of horses, Randy. Small barn, but he is darn good. And you can see he's got 1 win at the meet. It's this filly right here, so he's going to bring her right back. And she was impressive last time. And if she stays close to the pace, obviously coming out of that mile and 16th race, she's going to have the punch late.
Claimed her, got a win. We'll see if she can stay 2 for 2 with this barn as they start to load for race number 4 here at Churchill Downs. Again, we'll be bringing you Churchill as well as the Zenyatta from Santa Anita as well. So Paul's going to try Stellar Stiletto at a little bit of a price there. We'll see if we can get that horse home as we head down to Louisville at Churchill Downs with track announcer Travis Stone for the call of race number 4.
And Ginny B. Back down to the gate is Hero of Gold. And now backed out as well as Kitty Express.
Slight delay here for race 4 at Churchill Downs. It looks like we might be having a late scratch as they are backing the field out of the track to adjust the numbers. As soon as we get word for official confirmation, we'll let you know. But Paul, sometimes this can affect how the wagering goes. It can affect, looks like the number 1, in fact, we're taking a lot of money, Lucky Visit. Or no,
Is it the one?
the 4.
4 is the late scratch.
4 is the late
Hero
scratch
of
here.
gold.
Hero of Gold, the late scratch. A long shot for Gennady Dorochenko, but this does affect Paul sometimes when horses have to come out of the gate to go back in. It can kind of rile them up a little bit sometimes.
Yeah, some of the horses that are already worked up, it can sort of help them because the delay can sort of settle them down, but you're right, it can go either way. And you said a great line yesterday. They're sort of like Christmas lights when you said 2-year-old fillies, but horses in general are like that. When they see one act up, they're like little kids, and these are 3-year-old fillies, some older mares too. They see one act up, they think, okay, if that one can do it, I can too. So you're 100% right. You see more times than not when one acts up at the gate, something else happens. So hopefully we'll be okay here, but hopefully Hero of Gold is all right. And Mitchell Morel, hopefully everything's okay there, and she'll live to fight another day. But yeah, it looks like they're going to reload here, and hopefully these fillies are still composed.
And you see a lot of them hook back up with the pony. Horses are herd animals at the end of the day. So sometimes the company of another horse that's calmer, that's why a pony sometimes will accompany a horse to the paddock that's very anxious or keyed up. So trying to keep these horses settled more than anything. Gate crew doing a great job. There goes the number 8 Stellar Stiletto, as we will try this again, round 2 here for race number 4 at Churchill Downs. It's like just a couple more let to load, and it looks like all in all, everybody seems to be behaving pretty well. As we have one more, and we'll head down to Travis Stone for the call of race 4.
They're in the gate. And they're off. GDB on the far outside. Speed to Tomb is there. Have No Fear down toward the rail, and right at the inside is Lucky Visit racing up for a forward spot 2. And here comes Stellar Stiletto and Angel's Cut. They join the fray as well. Stellar Stiletto comes on through to take a clear-cut lead with 5 furlongs to go. Ginny B on the outside moves to press, and these two are head-and-head for the lead. Angel's Cut is pushed along to keep up 3rd on the outside. Lucky Visit is 4th and at the rails. Speed to Tomb is 5th, in between horses. Have No Fear 6th. A break of 2 lengths back to Thebe, who's near the back of the pack for the far turn run, followed by Ruby's Memory. Another 3 from there, back to the 2 trailers. Flat Out and Foxy and Kitty Express. Round the far turn, and Jenny B steps on it. 5-length lead racing for the top of the stretch. Speed to Tomb picks up the chase from 2nd. Lucky Visit is honing in from 3rd. They're off the turn. Ginny B's got a 2.5-length lead, 3/16 to go. Lucky Visit down inside is going to try and sneak through toward the rail. Speed to Tomb is back in 3rd. There's 1 furlong to go. Ginny B's still there. Lucky Visit switches outside, and it's coming with a run now. Have No Fear late on the scene toward the inside. Flouted and Foxy on the outside, but Lucky Visit got the jump and won. Lucky Visit, a length and a half in the end. Over Ginny B 2nd, Flat Out and Foxy was 3rd, and Have No Fear 4th.
Lucky Visit stays 2 for 2 off the claim with Randy Matthews. Broker Maiden going a mile and a 16th, turns back in distance and ends up just in time getting off the rail to get the job done today.
Yeah, Corey Landry was a gentleman. Chantel Sutherland shut the rail off. And I'll tell you what, Corey is not afraid. Even Gary Stevens will tell you he will scrape the boot. He's more than Burrell. He loves the rail, but Chantel was not giving it to him. Good ride by both of them.
Chantel Sutherland on Ginny B, setting that hot pace, but it was Lucky Visit to get the job done. When we come back, we'll be talking a little bit about the Zenyatta from Santa Anita Park. All that coming up on America's Day at the Races.
Our win program. It was a big, big day.
By your side in the Sanford.
That's the finest breeding program in Central Kentucky.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
I'm a firm believer you don't put the saddle on the pedigree. I bought him strictly because of his physique, his conformation. And then when you looked at the pedigree, it was the perfect blend. Runhappy was an incredible, incredible racehorse, being supported by Airdrie Stud, who raises an incredible animal. To breed one of their best mares to him speaks volumes. It ended up producing an incredible result in this horse, and we just hope he runs to his looks and his pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
If she wins this, she'll be a super horse. She's starting to pick them off, though. Zenyatta going to hook to the outside. Meanwhile, it's Colonel John. Summerbird in the red cap. And Zenyatta's come to the outside. Zenyatta coming flying on the grandstand side. Ponte on the inside. Summerbird is right there. This is unbelievable. Zenyatta. What a performance. One we'll never forget.
The great Zenyatta, certainly a performance that we will never forget. Your 2010 Horse of the Year, 3-time champion, older male, beat the boys in the 2009 Breeders' Cup Classic, and boy, she was something special, huh?
No, she really was. I was fortunate to be there that day. And the horses that she beat on that day, you heard Colonel John. Ponte was in that race. Summerbird was a good horse. During that win streak, she beat Twirling Candies, turning out to be a very good sire. And her only loss was to Blame, who obviously has turned out to be a phenomenal sire. What a phenomenal racehorse she was. And to win 19 in a row from the style she did it, because there was a couple times she did not like Del Mar. It was a couple times with Del Mar I thought she was beat, but a horse that knew where the wire was, definitely.
She had that very kind of sometimes nerve-wracking late closing kick, and the race named in her honor will go as race number 5 today at Santa Anita. That will be at 5:30 p.m. Eastern time today on America's Day at the Racing, the day at the races. So don't miss out on that. Nice little rematch in there of a couple of horses, Ollie's Candy and Secret Spice. So we'll see who gets the win in today's Grade 2 Zenyatta. There is the field as we start to look ahead for what we're going to get. There's those beautiful mountains there at Santa Anita, the host of this year's Breeders' Cup. So field of 6, Secret Spice and Ollie's Candy rematching your 2 favorites.
Yeah, and you can see Paradise Woods. A lot of people forgetting about him. About the deal, man, he is on fire. Another big win yesterday in the Awesome Again, upsetting Mackenzie. Paradise Woods now into John Sheriff's Barn, but you're right. Secret Spice for Richard Baltus is probably the one to be in there. When you look at Ollie's Candy and John Sadler, you know, he just acquired this horse 3 starts ago, and then 2 starts on the turf, and then boom, right on the dirt with Kent DeSormo and the Clement L. Hirsch, and she comes and she wins. What I do love is that now John, who is very good at this, gives this horse plenty of time. She's going to be a handful. She's going to need a little pace to run into, but she looks like on paper, occasionally there is pace for her.
It certainly looks that way. And last time out, Ollie's Candy and Secret Spice dueling down to the wire. They put on a really good show. And the Clement L. Hirsch last time out, of course, a Secret Spice winning the Beholder Mile at Santa Anita. She's a Grade 1 winner. So if you've got some class in there, Paradise Woods, as you mentioned, 10-length winner back in April. She hasn't won since then, but we'll see if she can get back to form as we turn our attention back here to New York as we look at race number 4 coming up here at Belmont Stakes. 9 to 5 currently on duress. First off the claim for Tom Albertrani. Let's head down to the paddock and check in with Maggie.
And while this looked to be an interesting race on paper, I would have to agree with the public in them making number 4 Duress the favorite. I think the 7-8 should hit him square between the eyes, and he looks fantastic here. A horse that I've liked since the get-go, as we'll go first off the claim for Tom Albertrani. But there's some horses in here that have some questions to answer, namely the turf question, which is applied to number 2 in here at Bebo. First off a claim for trainer Bruce Brown. First of all, he's been really bad to saddle. As you see, everybody Everybody else is saddled here. We have 8 minutes to post, and he's still getting the tack on. So they've been struggling with him for several minutes now. It seems as though now on the walk, they're getting it on him. Look, I like the 7/8, but that's about it. And I like it because he's sharp. He looks like a horse that would prefer less ground, but I just don't know about the turf. He doesn't necessarily look like a turf runner. He's by Bernardini, which isn't the greatest influence in the world. There was one sibling who was okay on the turf, but that was by Tisnow. As we'll look at number 3, Single Focus, second race in a row, second horse with one eye, and cleverly named as well, Single Focus. As, yeah, it's a little maybe dubious of the fact that Barkley didn't go immediately to the turf with this horse because he actually looks more like a turf horse. But Barkley's one who is certainly more apt to running his horses on the turf more so than the dirt. And to me, he looks like he should enjoy this surface change. Comes off a bit of a break, looks fit, is very nice and calm here in the paddock. I like what I'm seeing from him, and he'll be a decent price here with Dylan Davis aboard. Now, Danny Gargan will send out a first-time starter, the lone one in the field, tallest of the tall. He's named well. He's a big boy, that's for sure. He's long, he's scopy, but there's a lot to him. There's a lot of substance to him as well. He's pretty fit in here. I'm a little concerned about the 7/8. First time out, he feels like a horse that might want to go a little bit further than this, as he's also wearing blinkers for his debut and is incredibly laid back as well for this first outing. As you can see, he's just hanging out. Don't really know if he knows what's about to happen, but we'll find out, as he is well spotted at least for this surface. Acacia.
Maggie, thank you. First-time starter taking on some horses with experience in here. And Maggie mentioned a couple times the distance, Paul. 7 furlongs on the turf can be a taxing distance here at Belmont.
Well, it's very tricky. I had an old friend tell me it's almost like a sprint. It's an elongated sprint, obviously, and it's a short, route of ground. You have to be really, really fit because you're running from the get-go. And the horses just don't train in the morning to go 7 furlongs unless you put a lot of drills. As you can see, the prices in. His Lucky Visit gets the job done, beating Ginny B at the wire, or pretty comfortably. So Chantel Sutherland checks in second there. But, yeah, Maggie makes a good point there. The Ford Duress was giant last time. And I'm wondering, got left in the gate, but it's happened twice. You can see Tom Albatrani talking to Jose Ortiz. Tom does not claim a lot of horses. No. I mean, he's only claimed 1 horse this year. I can't remember the last time he claimed another horse in the past couple years.
3 in the past 5 years.
That's crazy. So when he sees one, they usually run, and the money usually showed up. He had a first-time starter. The money showed up the other day, and the horse won. So I wouldn't talk anybody off this horse. I actually chose this horse, cleverly named Duress, Violence to Sire. But I just think this horse has got a lot of upside, but he needs to get out of the gate.
That's the key. I mean, last time out, he really just kind of hopped in the air and he had his head high early. Just sometimes when horses are so far back away from the rest of the pack, it's hard to make up that ground. And he really was running late last time. But you mentioned Tom Albatrani off the claim. In the last 5 years, he's claimed 3. 1 was a winner. The other 2 finished in the money. So none off the board. They've been spotted right clearly, and Jose Ortiz is going to pick up the mount on this one. So getting out of the gate is the key, but does look like he's the horse to beat in here, given how he's run. There's some speed to the inside with Red Mule. What do you do with that horse? He's 7-2 right now.
Well, Robbie Altris is so good. I thought he got this horse a good race into this horse after the claim from Contessa. Probably needed it, obviously, since May. So should be fitter today. And you're right. Probably the horse to catch in here, because when you look, you see some other horses with speed, but you don't see turf speed. You see turf speed from Red Mule. You see a little bit from Azadine, but that's going long, the 6. I don't know if she'll be able to flaunt that. In the 5 for Tommy Morley, that horse has shown speed too. That's the tricky horse. First time gelding and taking money. They had a horse the other day, Tom and Maggie, that probably should have won. They had some trouble in the stretch. And Castellano gets aboard. That's the live horse on the board.
And first-time gelding, as you mentioned. Sometimes that, plus the drop in class from special weight, 4 special weight races down at the fairgrounds. Sometimes that gelding can really kind of either mentally help a horse or sometimes physically as
Yeah.
well to just kind of put things together a bit. So hasn't raced since March, but we'll see what we get from Mr. Mike coming up to New York and taking a drop in classes. Here's our post parade, beginning with the 1 Red Mule.
Going to get that warm up because this one's going to probably be on the front end along with the other speed horse in there, maybe Mr. Mike.
The 2 is Bebo, first off the claim for Bruce Brown and trying the turf.
Yeah, you know, I don't dismiss this horse. You know, they gelded this horse not too long ago, and I actually think there might be a little bit of turf pedigree. And it's not getting dismissed at the window.
The 3 is Single Focus, another one trying the turf for the first time.
Yeah, this one for Barkley Tag. I don't know. You know, Barkley sometimes can surprise you. Another horse that's taking money. Dylan Davis been riding hot of late.
That other horse, as Maggie mentioned, with just 1 eye. And here's the 4, your favorite, Duress for Tom Albertrani.
Yeah, I think this Colt's the one to beat. They paid $210,000 for him. Probably doesn't want to be in for 40, but if he gets out of the gate, he'll be tough.
The 5 is Mr. Mike, taking that drop in class for Tom Morley.
Yeah, and I think the drop in class will help his speed. Those fairground turf races have played well throughout the year.
The 6 is Azadine, the French bred, who's had quite a few chances here.
Usually tries to go to the front end going long. Whenever she tries to sprint, she really can't make it to the front, so she probably should be more than 24 to 1.
Scratch the 7. Here's the 8, first-time starter, tallest of the tall.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Danny Gargan, it's hard to throw this guy out, right? At 8 to 1, at 6 to 1, excuse me. He just wins races and debuts with Lasix. This is the son of First Samurai.
Especially you see those Ken and Sarah Ramsey colors as we have a long shot to wrap up the field. Bridge to the Future.
Yeah, this one by Rattlesnake Bridge. If I'm not mistaken, he almost won a Belmont at one point. But this horse is 0 for 16, and wow, it's been 133 to 1, 95 to 1. 43 to 1 is a little generous.
There's the field for race number 4. Let's check in with Maggie once again.
And here with trainer Danny Gargan as he sends out first-time starter, tallest of the tall. Danny's well named. I would have to say he's a big boy.
Oh, he's very big. I mean, I'd have to say he's over 17 hands. He's such a big horse. You know, today's distance will probably be the thing that can be the biggest problem with him today. But just the timing worked out where we need to get him started and get running.
Danny, you also send out another first-time starter in the split division of this race, 7/8 on the turf for the last as well. What can you tell us about that son of Real Solution? Have you been working them together?
Actually, those two have worked together. They're pretty good workmates. Tallest of Tall's been working with Donegal Aces a lot, and he ran second here the other day for 50. Good Solution probably outworks all of the 3. He's probably the best workhorse right now, but you know, he's built to sprint, so I think he has a better chance today, but he drew the tougher half of the race.
All right, well, we'll see if you can get either of them home, but you won't be getting anybody home out in Oklahoma as Tax is a late scratch from the Oklahoma Derby. Said he had a fever when he shipped out.
Yeah, he got off the van, and then that afternoon we took we take their temperatures, and he spiked to 102, and we took a blood on him. All the blood work all came back good, and I thought about running him until this morning, and I decided, you know, it's probably the best thing to do is just not run him and just wait, because if we ran him and he didn't show up, I'd probably give him the rest of the year off. And the way the division is falling apart right now, I just want to see if I have a chance to be around Breeders' Cup Day.
So you will bring him back here and train him up possibly to a Breeders' Cup start?
I'll bring him back here, and then he'll go to California early and train up to the Breeders' Cup, because he's not a great shipper. So if he goes out there, I'm going to take him out early.
Makes a lot of sense. Danny, best of luck here with your runners and with Tax later on.
Thank you so much.
All right, guys. Somewhat big news here from Danny Gargan as Tax looks to be heading towards the Breeders' Cup Classic as he will have to skip this Oklahoma Derby. Acacia?
Maggie Wolfendale breaking the story. We might see Tax back here shipping early to Santa Anita. Maggie, thank you. As Danny Gargan doing the right thing by the horse. Unfortunately, we won't get to see Tax, your Jim Dandy winner, run today, but potentially following him up to the first week in November.
Yeah, listen, he's done a phenomenal job with the horse. First of all, picking the horse out and claiming him, and then going on from there. So you're right, doing well by the horse, and he's got confidence, and Danny's got a ton of confidence. And I think he's smart, too. He knows what's been going on, and he knows he needs to get out to Santa Anita to train over that race course. They've been running slower times over there. We all know why. We don't need to mention it. So they need to get over that race course to get some fitness. So hopefully Tax will come back, and the fever will be gone, and he'll be on a flight to Cali.
We'll keep an eye on him for sure, as he has that first-time starter. 6-1 right now on Tallest of the Tall. In fact, half to a stakes place horse, Beautiful Becca, did win 3 times on the grass. Couple trying the turf for the first time. Any other price horses you think look interesting in here, Paul, besides the favorite?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. Well, I do think Single Focus to 3 is a horse that might take to the turf. The Lemon Drop Kid on the bottom side. I know he's a Virginia bred. You see Maggie and I are both on the 4. I think the 3 could be a prize horse. You know, the 2 I would have thrown in. And I'll tell you what, if the 8 runs here, you better use Danny in the last race. He was telling Maggie basically he thought good solution. Might need a little bit longer. This one might need sprinting, but I don't know. If this one runs here, I would play the one in the last because in the workout report, they worked heads up.
Working well and together for the first start. And here's Duress continues to be your favorite. They're behind the gate. Single Focus, that one-eyed horse, which for a lot of horses, that really doesn't affect them very much. As I mentioned, sometimes they're herd animals, so they kind of stick with what they see to their inside or their outside. I actually have an ex-racehorse who has just one eye, and she'll jump over anything. So no issues there, nothing to worry about if you had any trepidations about Single Focus. Bebo trying the turf for the first time. That was the one that Maggie said was acting up a lot in the paddock. Seems like he might have settled down a bit more now, first off the claim for Bruce Brown. As we have a couple left to load, we'll see if Duress can get out of the gate here. First off the claim for Tom Albertrani. And we'll head up to Larry Collmus for the call of race 4 at Belmont Park.
Bridge to the Future goes in, and they're all in line. They're off. And it's Bebo on the inside, out with Red Mule for the lead. These 2 clear of Duress, who's away running in 3rd. Mr. Mike is 4th. Azadine is 5th on the outside early on. Single Focus 6th and down at the rail. 5 lengths off the lead, then Bridge to the Future and Tallest of the Tall. Up the backstretch they go. Bebo and Red Mule locked in battle here. Stride for stride, 2.5 clear of Duress. Mr. Mike and Azadine on the outside. 23:04 that first quarter. Break of 3 back to Single Focus back there in 6th. 5 off the lead, then Bridge to the Future and Tallest of the Tall. Around the far turn, it is Red Mule and Bebo. Locked in battle, stride for stride on the far turn. And coming up to them is Azadine on the outside, who's up into 3rd now, just 3/4 of a length off the lead. Then Mr. Mike. Duress is down on the inside, in contention, 4.5 lengths back to Single Focus, Tallest of the Tall, and Bridge to the Future. And they're coming to the top of the stretch here, and Bebo's in front. Bebo off the turn with the lead. Duress is moving well on the outside. These 2 kick away now from Red Mule, who's back running in 3rd. Then Mr. Mike Azadine is given way, and then Tallest of the Tall. It's Duress who takes charge. Duress pulls away from Bebo, and Duress and Jose Ortiz will score by a length. Bebo was 2nd, 3rd is a photo, Mr. Mike and Red Mule.
Duress, your favorite, first off the claim, gets the job done today as Bebo, trying the turf for the first time, ran very well to be 2nd.
Yeah, ran very well. They ran a quick time here, 1:20 and change, almost 1:21 flat. Jose Ortiz had a ton of horse with the 4, Duress. And I'll tell you what, the 2, Bebo, actually won the race for him because what ended up happening was he was able to put away Red Mule. If he wasn't able to put away Red Mule a little bit, I guess earlier, the 4 wasn't going to be able to get out if the 3 would have able to stay in his lane or the 5, but I guess the inevitable has happened. Jose Ortiz was trapped in a couple races so far in races we've been on, but he's gotten both of them home.
Getting there at 8-5 over 8-1. Bebo there as Jose Ortiz gets a couple of wins today. Duress gets the job done. When we come back, we'll give you prices and look ahead to what else is coming up on America's Day at the races.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
That time at Oaklawn when a home run made for a big night. Bet on your favorite teams at Oaklawn's new race and sports book. Oaklawn, a new level of action, a new level of excitement.
The thermal spring waters our city is named after are known for their legendary healing properties. Their thirst-quenching properties are pretty nice, too. Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's different here. Come see why.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or NYRA Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200.
The dramatic finish.
Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. Well, race number 4 was a popular victory and not too much duress as Tom Albatrani gets this one home first off the claim in his 3rd career start. And Tommy, you don't claim that many horses, but I pay attention when you do because they do tend to run well.
We've been very fortunate off the claims, but this was an entering horse we saw at Saratoga that we thought would be a good claim, and I think it was.
How many shakes were in there that day? How many horses? Trainers, I should say.
2, I believe.
Oh, well, it was an easy shake to win then.
That's right. I lose most of them anyway, but this one was good.
Now the 7/8's kind of cutting back. It seemed to be the perfect distance for him as well.
Yeah, I thought last time he was a little bit ranked going longer. 7/8's like hit him right between the eyes, I thought, and it worked out great. You know, Jose came back, said I had a lot of horse today, and hopefully we go forward.
Awesome. Well, you also had a nice maiden breaker last week by the name of Spycraft. A 2-year-old went straight to the lead and shook off every challenger. Tommy, were you expecting that kind of performance? And 2, where could we maybe see him next?
Yeah, he showed a lot of promise in the morning. You know, we were really high on this horse before he ran in his first race. We had a little hiccup at Saratoga, so he didn't make a start up there, but he was always very impressive in the morning, and I think we'll run him maybe the day after the Breeders' Cup in the Nashua Stakes, I believe it is.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Tommy, congratulations with him because he looks to have a bright future and with Duress here.
Thanks very much, Maggie.
All right. Well, Duress getting the job done first off the claim. And Acacia, take note. I said it. Tom Albatrani off the claim is very dangerous.
He certainly is. Maggie, thank you. As Tom Albatrani in the last 5 years now 2 for 4 off the claim, so not too bad at all. As Duress 8-5 gets the job done over Bevo, pays $5.30 to win.
Yeah, congratulations to Tom. He's such a good guy, too. Son of Violence had a smart strike mare. Maddie and Morgan for chalk racing was the chalk, but got it home. And it's been a little bit chalky in the early pick 5. Pecan Patty to Duress. Like I said, Cool Boy was 15-1 morning line. Maybe that could be your saving grace. That horse will play that for you. Again, maybe you can get a price in this race, too, race number 5.
Could be a price coming up in the 5th. We'll keep an eye on that. As one leg still to go here in the pick 5 at Belmont Park as we go back down to Kentucky and Churchill Downs. We've got a big field coming up in this race number 5 maiden claiming, with Corey Landry getting the win in the 4th race aboard Lucky Visit. He is now the leading jockey over Julian Leperoux. They were tied. Now Corey has 12 wins and he's going to be aboard first-time starter Little Red Frog. That's a fun one in here, but Better and Better, your current favorite.
This is like a grab bag, right? 2-year-old fillies, maiden 50,000. This is when you hit the 10-cent super button, or you better
I love
have
a good 10-cent
yeah,
super.
if it lets you have some information. And Luis Saez on the 5 here, Better and Better for Brad Cox, taking a lot of money. This horse been working at Indiana Down, so don't really know what the clockers are saying there. I couldn't tell you here. This is a really tough group. I just know that when I looked at it at the beginning, the 12 horse in here is eating up a lot of money. So it's Anthony Cordarolo. They claim this horse. Now the horse is back in for 50, and the blinkers are coming off. Now, these are the kind of horses usually I stay away from, but I actually like this horse today because I think they got so ambitious and went over their head a little bit. Now they take the blinkers back off, and now they're going back to where this horse belongs. Plus, they shoved how many races up this horse's throat in 3 weeks? They shoved 3 races in a month. Now they gave this filly finally some time off. So at 9-2, I think she's okay.
An interesting note there. I remember speaking to Anthony Cordarolo at Saratoga before her race a couple starts back when he claimed her. You know, claim a horse, you step her up for 75, then you step her up to maiden special weight again. And at Saratoga, those are not easy races that she was running in. So blinkers do come off. She has some natural speed. She faded last time out at Saratoga, again, in a very solid field that she was running against. So this just might be the right spot for her. And as you mentioned, getting a bit of a freshening. The Byron offspring seem to have been doing well in addition. Yeah,
when you look at the rest of the pedigrees in this race, there's not much in here. And you can see that a lot of these horses, you know, 60,000. There's not a lot of like $200,000 purchases that are just dropping in to try to get the W in here. So that's why I think the 12 belongs in here. I really don't think any of these first-time starters are killers. Maybe the 5 can run a little bit, but you know, if you look at We Don't Believe Her, the 12, her first race probably wins this race. So that's why I think 9-2 now instead of when she was 9-5 at Saratoga. You know, for maiden 50, which maiden 50 at Saratoga can mean maiden special weight in a lot of different places because people are dropping to win over there.
That's right. You want to get in the winner's circle at Saratoga more than anything. So a horse with experience to the outside and a bunch of first-time starters as the 5 Better and Better taking money. Brad Cox had been your leading trainer heading into closing day. Louis Saez down to ride as well. They've had a lot of success together pairing up. So when you see Louis Saez picking up the mount there, when you're looking at a 2-year-old race like this, Paul, especially when it does seem to kind of be a grab bag without those pedigrees to look at, horses sometimes with experience seems like they maybe jump off the page a little bit more.
Yeah, how many times do you tell yourself, oh gosh, the horses that ran just ran 1, 2, 3, and all the horses that got touted didn't run at all. I will say this, though. This isn't the strongest the horses that have ran. The ones that have ran, the 12, is the best. So they don't have to be much to beat the 12, but I just think she could be good enough to win.
What about the 9 Abounding? Ran into a wet track at Indiana in her debut for Brendan Walsh. Dropping in class today, and Tyler Gaffleone up.
Tyler upgrade, and Brendan's so good on the drop, too, on maiden claimers. 13% for the drop. He's pretty good, about 16%.
They're all in. Here's Travis Stone with the call of race 5 at Churchill Downs.
They're in the gate. And they're off. We Don't Believe Her on the far outside, racing for the lead. Abounding is also there. Lady Hideaway not far behind. Better and Better toward the inside. Super Legs tries to come up on through and get a forward spot. Long-legged Laverne on the far outside. So they sort themselves out, and it is Abounding who comes on through to take the lead. We Don't Believe Her second on the outside. Long-legged Laverne is up into third. Super Legs is advancing into fourth. Better and Better's now fifth. Little Red Frog sixth. Orb Soul's in some traffic, running in seventh by another 2. No doubt about her is eighth. Lady Hideaway is down inside ninth. Dynamite Gift racing 10th by 2. She's a Lady Grizz is 11th. And Queen of Carnival is last of them all. 22 seconds flat for the opening quarter mile. They round the far turn. Abounding in front. We Don't Believe Her. Cranking up the pressure. These two head in head. Super Legs pops outside to put in a bid from third. Orb Soul cuts the corner down inside fourth. Dynamite Gift swings wide from fifth. Little Red Frog is there too. There's 1 furlong to go. It's wide open. Dynamite Gift coming boldly down the center of the track. Little Red Frog in between. Super Legs is there. Orb Soul down inside with We Don't Believe Her. 16th out. Little Red Frog battles with Dynamite Gift. These two coming down to the finish together. Super Legs is third. Here's the wire. Little Red Frog won it. 3/4 of a length on the wire over Dynamite Gift in second. Super Legs third and Orb Soul fourth.
Little Red Frog. All you got to do is bet Corey Landry, who now extends his lead. 13 wins. You're continuing to be your leading riders. First-time starter gets it done.
Yeah, and you can see the big white face horse. That's all you need to look with a blue cap, or is that a purple? Yeah, it's a purple cap, excuse me. And you can see the big white face down the center track. And he had to fend off that horse on the outside, fend off the other horses on the inside. And Corey's so good at finishing. And you're right, extends that lead some more. This one for Home Wrecking Racing LLC.
Certainly soon to do that. Ended up going off at 8-1 with Corey Landry in the irons. We'll take a break. Greg Wolf will be coming in. We'll say goodbye for a few minutes to Paul LoDuca, and we'll continue on with racing across America with America's Day at the Races.
Whether you have Derby dreams or midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
We're gonna go.
Grade 1 winner and track record setter Lee. He traveled the world competing against the best of his generation. Now his progeny are hitting the track. His first winners include Saratoga standout Vass, with juveniles selling for over $400,000 and yearlings bringing up to $650,000. The sky is the limit for this promising young stallion. Lee, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Piranha, the leader in fly control and wipe and spray products, now has premium equine grooming products. Introducing Aloe Pro Shampoo, an organic concentrate enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and silk protein. Piranha Detangler, a dry comb-through detangling spray that conditions, moisturizes, keeping tail and mane manageable. And Shine Baby Shine, a water-based coat conditioner that leaves a show ring shine every time. Visit piranhaeat.com to see our full line of equine products, and for a limited time, use promo code NYRA to receive a 10% discount on your order. Piranha on, pests gone.
Almost always a top 5 trainer on the NYRA circuit, Linda Rice was the Saratoga Meets leading trainer in 2009, and she credits much of her success to the New York breds in her stable.
The New York Breeders' Program is a tremendous program.
So on opening day of the 151st meet at Saratoga Racecourse, no one was surprised to see Rice saddling the only New York bred in an open company allowance race.
And it's Vincento and Potomac out well.
Bettors let the New York bred go off at odds of 10-1, but the 6-year-old was sent to the lead early, then held off 2 late challengers.
And Vincento holds on 3/4 of a length on the wire.
Vincento's owner collects more than $50,000 for the win. Now you'll understand why Linda Rice buys New York breds for her clients.
It's an A other than, which is the benefit of having a New York bred, because he's made $380,000, most of those in New York Big Company, and then today he came back and won an A other than, an open company race with a $92,000 purse on it, and that's what keeps owners in the game, and that's what we try to do with the New York Bred program.
It pays to have a New York bred, and welcome back to America's Day at the Races. I'm Maggie Wolfendale. Shortly, we'll be joined by Greg Wolf and Paul LoDuca as we have New York breds in the paddock. How fitting is that in this entry-level allowance race for the fillies? Now, as that feature kind of alluded to, there's a lot of conditions to go through for these New York breds. So they've graduated from their maiden special weights and now are taking on winners here. Some of them multiple winners, though. As we'll take a look, though, at a horse coming back off a layoff, and that's number 4, It's a Chance, for trainer Pat Quick. Now, she was entered first time out in a maiden 25, and with an absolute blowout performance and a fast figure that would make her very, very playable here if she didn't have her last race, looking at you on the form as well. But that day she came back, she just did not look as well. Her weight wasn't what it was first time out. Her coat looked dry and dull. And 2, she had to battle other pace pressure from Cash Offer while she was down on the inside. And yes, the winner came from way back, but then again, Cash Offer, she finished second that day. So I think now with the layoff, it pointed at something maybe just a little amiss as well with It's a Chance, and she comes back here today and she looks much the same as what she did first time out, so that's a good sign for her. Yes, there's another pace presence in here with the one horse She's So Shady, but at least It's a Chance is drawn to the outside of her. Now Jeremiah Engelhart holds a pretty strong hand in here, though we'll take a look at his longer price of the duo, and that's number 6, Take Me to Hardoon. Her sprint fast track dirt races are arguably her best, and that's what you'll get to do here. Now she's second off of a layoff. I thought she looked good last time, but it was over a wet track, and she clearly does not like any moisture in the track whatsoever. Now she's back where she wants to, or she's back on what she wants to run on. And again, she looks better than what I had seen from her going back to last winter. So she deserves a look in here, I think, second off the bench. As one kind of coming back off a little bit of a layoff is number 8, Bank Examiner, as she was a maiden breaker last time out. She looks fantastic here. Great coat. She's really well conditioned. She has those very strong hindquarters to her. I like what I'm seeing from her. She does have that kind of quiet disposition, but that suits her running style as well. She's going to be one of those stalking speed types, and she has an advantageous post to the outside. Greg?
Maggie, thanks. Yeah, we got a whole new crew here upstairs. So I'm Greg Wolf, joined by Hall of Famer Gary Stevens, Acacia Courtney. 3 of us going to be up on the set for a little bit as we get set for the start of this late pick 5, and Bank Examiner, who Maggie was just talking about in here, one of 2 in here for Jeremiah Engelhart, has faced some pretty good company. We saw Radikowski have to kind of grind one out at Saratoga. That stretch tool was not all that impressive, but Radikowski came back to win by 10.5 lengths here at Belmont earlier in the meet.
Yeah, and her maiden breaker was some kind of finish in there. She didn't look like she looked like she was going to be third, and she surged late, got up to win by half a length, and I think there's a lot of ability there, Greg.
Well, Bank Examiner, I mean, I remember talking to Jose Ortiz after Radikowski's last win here at Belmont, and he thinks that she's going to go into stakes competition the next time. So Bank Examiner coming out of, I think, a key race. There was another next out winner in there. She's the horse to beat. Is she unbeatable in this race? She's 5-2 right now on the board. There might be a little bit of other value. She could be a little bit vulnerable, but she's definitely the horse to beat based off of what she did right before that layoff.
5-2, price starting to come down a little bit. She's shown a lot of talent, but we haven't seen her as well since May 25th. So is that a concern?
I don't think so. You know, Jeremiah, he does well bringing these horses back off these layoffs right now, freshening up, and I don't think that the layoff is going to be a problem at all for her.
Meanwhile, you got another horse in here. I mean, as you go through the rest of this group, if it's not Bank Examiner, Acacia, there's a lot of horses who could step up and show talent. It's a chance. First time out, the 4 filly looked extremely strong. Oh, it was only a state-bred maiden 25, and then didn't do any running second time out.
Well, good to hear some good notes from Maggie that she looks like she did in her first start. So that they went back to the drawing board, gave her a little bit of time, that she's back where she needs to be because she won exceptionally well first time out. And sometimes you just need to go back to the drawing board with horses. So good to hear that she's looking like she did when she debuted.
Jason Service with a couple of runners in here as well, but neither of these 2 Jason Service runners, the speed inside, who could be, it would look like the 4 might try and challenge that one. 8-1 on the board, and then 11-1 on Cheatham Hill. We'll talk more about this first leg, late pick 5, coming up in just a moment, including the post parade, which we'll show you shortly. A new audience joining us right now. Short pause, and we'll be back. Welcome to America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, and those just joining us on MSG Plus. Great to have you with us on a Sunday afternoon here in Elmont, New York. Our show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Gorgeous Sunday weather here in Elmont, New York. Greg Wolf alongside Hall of Fame jockey Gary Stevens, Acacia Courtney. Like this crew up here to bring you the start of this late pick 5 coming up, and it begins with an interesting New York bred A other than at 6.5 furlongs as we take a look at the race schedule for the rest of this afternoon. So races 5 through 9, late pick 5 at Belmont. We also have a mandatory payout, late pick 5, Churchill Downs coming up. They're approaching the 15-minute mark to post in that sequence. But here in New York, Bank Examiner, for those who just joined us, we were talking about the outside filly in here, one of 2 for Jeremiah Engelhart. She's been off since late May, but she's been impressive in her first 2 dirt tries. We'll see her in a moment. Here comes our post parade. We will start with One of two in the race for trainer Jason Service. She's reeled off 3 in a row, and she is quick from the inside.
Yeah, and I thought she might get a little bit more than what she is right now with the lack of speed in this race.
Bustin' Scones for Gary Contessa returned off a 7-month layoff, ran second, beat a length last start.
And she had a little bit of bumping in there. She actually closed pretty well at a big price. This is the shortest price she's been. She gets in a light with 5-pound apprentice today.
Sweet Meadow Miss, Joel Rosario aboard for Charlie Baker.
Yeah, and if you throw out that last race in the slop, she's getting back on a fast track today, and I think that's going to be a preference and advantage for her.
Dylan Davis, he's on board for Patrick Quick. It's a chance.
This horse looks like she could make some noise today at 10-1. She was so impressive first time out, but disappointing last time. We'll see if she can get back to where she was on debut.
Rich Schosberg, he sends out Mary's Girl with Irad Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, and I just don't know if there's enough speed in here. She's got a nice late kick, but I don't think there's enough speed in here to help her.
The other Jeremiah Engelhart fill in here, Take Me to Hardoon. She showed some talent very early in her career.
They clearly thought highly of her, putting her right in the Grade 1 Frisette in her second start. She's second off the layoff today.
Here's the other Jason Service runner, and this one had a horrible trip early on last start.
She did. That was her claiming 32 last time in open company and getting back with the New York breds today.
And the one to beat on the outside, Jeremiah Engelhart's Bank Examiner Junior Alvarado.
She'd been working in company with Pecan Patty, who won earlier on today's card, so maybe a little bit of something to note there. She's off the layoff after breaking her maiden back in May.
Yeah, Pecan Patty, you and I were watching that, Gary, off air before we came on. She had nowhere to go in that race. It did not matter. When she finally found a hole, she was gone. She's been working with us one in the morning and holding her own.
Yeah, she was as short a price as you can get, and I was feeling for Jose Ortiz around the turn. You could see he had nowhere to go. There was nowhere inside, outside, and it's very, very rare that you can stop one like that, swing to the outside, and then she actually won under a hand ride with ease.
She was much the best in there getting the job done. As said, she had a troubled trip. So they've been working in company together, Bank Examiner. They both seem to be working in hand. And so she is coming in off of the layup, but it was a nice win last time out, sitting just behind the pace setters.
Yeah, and again in this race, winds up beating Radakowski, who is now 3 for 5 lifetime. And again, won by 10.5 lengths on the stretch out here earlier at this meet at Belmont, so beat a good field.
Yeah, I mean, she was relentless through the stretch here with this stretch drive. She just kept grinding. She's back at the same distance today as she was that day at 6.5 furlongs. So, again, she can lay close to the pace and just grind it out. She's that type of filly.
I think it's interesting. I think relentless is the right word for her and her running style. She just kind of ran down Dahl, who showed so much speed, and Radakowski last time out. I was intrigued that the pace in here, I think, is really interesting. Mary's Girl, Gary, you mentioned, she just might not have enough pace to run at. She was towards the back. She was closing outside last time out on that wet track. She's run some solid races, and I think she has talent. But is she going to get the right setup for her today?
Yeah, I mean, and look how wide she has to go that day. And that wasn't a bad place to be on that track, out in the middle of the track that day. We saw several runners come down, swoop on the outside. I don't know if she hung a little bit in the end in this race, but she looked like she was going to get up and win. And it just didn't happen, you know. And I don't know. There's not that much speed in here. So Shady, the Jason Service one horse, she might get loose on the lead. She's fast and just not a lot of pace in here today.
Yeah, I mean the 4 fillies, the other pace, but maybe it doesn't break well off the bench. We'll see. Maybe that inside runner could get free. It looks like one of those 2. Let's head downstairs, get more on this group with Maggie Wolfendale.
You know what happens when there doesn't appear to be that much pace on paper? There tends to be a lot. As I do think Mary's Girl was beaten by a nice horse and more mischief last time out, but I also think a wet track helps her out a bit, as she's not going to get that today. But the horse that just continues to impress me, who definitely doesn't like a wet track, is number 6 in here, Take Me to Hardoon, who, yes, comes out of that same race. And I want to give her a mulligan for that effort off the bench. She warmed up beautifully beneath Jose Ortiz. He took her away from the pony. For me, she was the one moving the best out there. I think this filly, as she's the longer price of the Jeremiah uncoupled entry in here, she might be the one that can sit a nice trip as well, as her stablemate, Bank Examiner, looks to as well. But I think she's just ticked every box for me. I want to give her another shot, like the 6.5 furlongs for her as well, Greg.
All right, Maggie, thank you. There's a look at our analyst selections. Again, late pick 5 begins here, 163,000 plus in that pool. You can play it through NYRA Bets. Favorite, though, remains Bank Examiner on the outside. Haven't seen her on the racetrack in the afternoon since late May. But back to Cheatham Hill, that's 7 for Jason Service. So he has that speedster on the inside. He's got the 7 Cheatham Hill. She just had some big-time problems early on in that race, completely dropped back out of it, and she really ran on good. Now, it was only a $32,000 claiming race, but still, I like the way she finished in that race.
Yeah, and I liked it. She was coming off of 4 straight route races, dropping back in distance to 6, and splitting the difference today at 6.5. I like your angle, Greg.
I picked her in here. She's my top pick at a nice price, and I'll take it. So we'll see if she can get the job done today.
Bank Examiner, the one to beat. That's the favorite outside for Jeremiah Engelhart. It's the start of the late pick 5. Let's go upstairs to Larry Collmus.
They're off. Good start by She's So Shady from the inside. Out for the lead with his A Chance Away running in second. Take Me to Hardoon is third. Boston Scones is fourth and down on the inside. And then Bank Examiner and Mary's Girl. Cheatham Hill next. And the trailer is Sweet Meadow Mist. Heading up the backstretch. She's So Shady on top. The leader by a length. It's A Chance is second as they make their way for the far turn. Take Me to Hardoon is third. Bank Examiner going up on their outside now after 23.55 quarter. And Bank Examiner has made a rush up into second and is heading for the pace setters now. Mary's Girl is getting going too. Going by horses on the outside within 2 lengths of the lead and starting to move up. And then it's back to Boston Scones, who's got 6 lengths to gain. Then Sweet Meadow Mist and Cheatham Hill. They're making their way toward the top of the stretch here. And it is She's So Shady, Bank Examiner, and Mary's Girl on the outside, a 46.83 half. These 3 come down the stretch with Bank Examiner now the leader. Mary's Girl trying hard to come and get her on the outside. Cheatham Hill grabs third. It is Bank Examiner in front. Mary's Girl is next. And then comes Cheatham Hill, Sweet Meadow Mist, and Boston Scones, Bank Examiner. Bank Examiner is going to do it. Mary's Girl second under the wire. Then it was Cheatham Hill and Sweet Meadow Mist.
Bank Examiner gets through her first condition here. Back-to-back wins and wins off the layoff, sitting in a nice tracking position under Junior Alvarado.
I like what I'm seeing with this filly. I mean, she laid closer today, and the layoff didn't hurt her. She was fresh, and she still had that relentless finish to her. She just keeps plugging along. I wonder if this filly would stretch out at all.
Yeah, she certainly looks like she could. She was very game, too, as it looked like Mary's Girl had a lot of horse coming on the outside at 1.2 under Irad Ortiz. But Junior Alvarado just had Bank Examiner in the good spot. You had the Service pace setter, She's So Shady. Larry Collmus, very deliberate saying that name. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but a nice move from Bank Examiner in company working in the mornings with Pecan Patty. Jeremiah had them both ready to roll.
8-5, 7-3, 9-5 favorite. Kicks off your late pick 5. Junior Alvarado the win, and Jeremiah Engelhart with 2 wins this afternoon. It's Pecan Patty, you mentioned, got that win earlier today back in race number 3. But yeah, this is an impressive run off a short layoff here for this Central Banker filly.
She's got great action, puts her head down. Looks like an oil machine going up and down, well-oiled machine. And I think this filly's got a great future ahead of her.
We'll be back with prices from this 5th here, set up the start of the late pick 4 when we return, and we will head to Louisville and Churchill Downs, the start of a mandatory payout in the late pick 5 in a non-winners at 2 lifetime mile and 16th race. Coming up under the Twin Spires next on America's Day at the Races.
Runhappy, you know, he's 16-2, he's a beautiful horse. There's stamina on top and bottom, and he's stamping his horses with that. I think they look big and fast, and like horses that'll go on and run a distance as well as short.
He was a fantastic racehorse, and if he passes on his ability as a racehorse, I think he's a slam dunk to be a great sire. Very athletic looking and beautiful bodied horse as well.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Coming on strong,
minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong? Testing, 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing, 1, 2.
Feel my love for you coming on strong.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Watching America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, Late Pick 5 underway on this Sunday afternoon here at Belmont Park with bank examiner Jeremiah Engelhardt doing a nice job with his filly off the short layoff. Now has won back-to-back starts.
Yeah, and she's going places. Mary's Girl, she ran a great race to be second in here as well. Cheatham Hill picking up the 3rd position.
Daughter is Central Banker, and certainly have to think that that's a really encouraging race off the layoff, just how well she finished up. Gary mentioned how much she had left in the tank late. That's exactly what you want to see, especially for a horse that hasn't run since May.
Yep, 4 months on the bench, comes back, gets the job done. Very professionally looking. Early pick 5. I think we could do better in the late pick 5. $267. As we take a look at how it played out. No big numbers in there, but we got some difficult races ahead in the late pick 5.
We've got some good races. Some good races and tough to figure out.
Absolutely. So we'll get to that coming up. We got, in case you got knocked out early, the late pick 4, or even if you want to just continue to get a little more action here. 6 furlongs inner turf, New York breds. Maiden special weight coming up, and guess who's favored? Chad Brown on the outside here with Corey Scores, but she has had a lot of opportunities to try and get that first win.
That's the tough thing about this race, is that some of the horses that look like they are logical in here have just been finishing second or have run well at this level. You got one first-time starter in Rousey, the number 8 in here. Maybe that's one that can shake things up, or maybe one dropping in class like Luff Namona.
Back at Churchill Downs, this is the start of their mandatory payout, late pick 5. Talk about a tough sequence. 10,000 non-winners of 2 to start it off. Mile and a 16th. A couple of key scratches in here. The 7, who would have probably been your favorite in this race, is out of the mix in here. Millwood's gone as well. Also scratched to 5. Veritas, that was a big long shot. Favored right now with the scratches is Aquadini. Dallas Stewart drops from 50. Or I should say, in for 50 non-winners of 2 last start, and didn't show a whole lot in that race, but has some back class to go to with the equipment change today, blinkers on.
Yeah, there's a number of horses that are taking pretty good drops in class today, but Aquadini probably getting the most class relief for Dallas Stewart in here, and looking at the form, the fans are thinking the same thing at 2 to 1 right now.
You see the class drop. They tried the blinker experiment 2 starts back, and last time out just had a terrible time kind of getting out of the gate. So maybe with the addition of blinkers, maybe a little bit sharp out of the gate. Towards the start of his career, he was showing a little bit more speed. And Gary, you can probably attest to this better. When you have a horse that has the ability to show some speed, maybe getting those blinkers on, sharpen him up a little bit, get out of the gate a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, he's had 9 starts in his lifetime, and he was showing a lot of promise at the fairgrounds this winter. Back in February, looked like he might be a decent kind of horse. He actually ran in the Bluegrass Stakes, and you know, from there on, I don't know if it jerked the heart out of him, lost his confidence after that. You see that happen sometimes when they're going the wrong way, and then they really get pounced on in a big race with classy horses. And sometimes it takes a drastic class drop like this to get the confidence level back up.
No, they had expectations for him, as you thought. He broke his maiden for maiden special weighted fairgrounds. His next out effort was very credible performance as well when he was favored. Then they put him in the Bluegrass, and then that was the end of the plan for the Triple Crown. So he looks tough in here. And also taking a drop, or did last time out, I guess, but it's been on turf. Sassy King, the 11, 5-2. Last 2 tries have come on grass, but this horse, if he can run back to what he did in his maiden score back in May at Churchill, he's going to be real tough.
You know, it's interesting because he has some dirtied up form, and sometimes horses like this can kind of slide under the radar. His last couple of races were turf. That really didn't seem to be his preferred surface at all. He's 0 for 4 on the grass. Before that, he had a wet fast track. Not sure what happened at the end of June. Looked like he was wide and just never really got underneath of himself. Sometimes it's just a matter of getting him at the right level. So I know he's been running for kind of a comparable tag last time out, but on dirt, this is a significant drop in class. So we'll see if this just ends up being the right spot in him. But he's going to need some pace to run at.
Start of the late pick 5. Again, mandatory payout here at Churchill Downs. Let's go to Travis Stone for the 6th.
Take charge, Duro. A little bit restive in the gate. Still waiting for Southern Myth. They're in the gate. And they're off. Sergeant McNearney for that inside post. Bounces out on top. Take charge, Doro is there. Aquadini showing speed, and for that outside post, Southern Myth tries to cross over, but is stuck wide nonetheless. Into the clubhouse turn, Sergeant McNearney down inside, setting the pace. Aquadini comes up to be second to apply some pressure. 2.5 lengths back from there to Southern Myth, who comes away in third. Take charge, Doro settles in fourth at the rail. Mr. Midtown fifth, and alongside that one. 2 lengths back to Dixie Zapper in sixth. Zartastic is back in seventh, just ahead of Tactical Quality in eighth. And 3 lengths back to Sassy King, who's the last of them all. 23 and 4 was the opening quarter mile, and Aquadini has gone on with it now. Aquadini building a 3-length lead for the run to the half-mile pole. Sergeant McNearney's left behind in second for the run to the far turn now. Take charge, Doro, sneaking through underneath of Southern Myth. They're together third and fourth. Mr. Midtown is fifth. 2 more lengths back to Tactical Quality alongside of Dixie Zapper. Sassy King is winding up from the back, but with 12 lengths to make up. And Zartastic now trails. 47 seconds flat for the half. Aquadini's got an 8-length lead and 2.5 furlongs to go. Aquadini rolls by the quarter pole. Take charge, Duro is now second on the outside, and Sassy King has rallied to be third, and it's coming down the side of the track. Aquadini's in deep water. Here's Take Charge, Duro. Here's Sassy King on the outside. Take Charge, Duro to the front, kicking away by 2. Sassy King now second. Aquadini's back into third. Deep in the final 16th. Take Charge, Duro has won it. Take charge, Doro from off the pace by 5 in the end. Sassy King second. Aquadini was third. Tactical Quality finished fourth.
Take charge, Doro, Pat Byrne, and a young rider we're going to be seeing here in New York pretty soon, Declan Carroll.
Yeah, this kid, he can ride. He looks good on a horse, and he comes from a horsey family. His dad, a great horseman himself, and this horse really fired today down the lane. Your favorite, Aquafini, I thought he was long gone at the 3/8 pole, and all of the warning lights started flashing and beeping and everything at the 3/16 pole. And Take Charge, Doro just runs a heck of a race here.
Gary said the gas light just came on for Aquadini, but it looked like he was back in the company that he seemed to fit, and he was back showing speed where he was comfortable, but shortened up, and certainly good move for Take Charge, Doro, who took advantage of that.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back when we return. We'll talk about that thriller in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Code of Honor Travers winner. Little help from the stewards. Gets that victory against older horses. And Imperial Hint got all he could handle from Firenze Fire in the Vosburg, but he defends his title. We'll be back.
Mastery retired undefeated, winning his 4 starts by a combined 20 lengths. A 6-figure September sale purchase. He won impressively in his 2-year-old debut at Santa Anita. From there, he captured the Grade 3 Bob Hope Stakes and completed his juvenile campaign with a dominant performance in the Grade 1 Los Alamitos Futurity. At 3, the top-rated son of Candy Ride sizzled in the San Felipe. Now his much-anticipated first crop has arrived. Mastery, standing at Claiborne Farm.
What I like best about Runhappy is sire, he showed so much brilliance to win the Grade 1s that he won, different racetracks, and he was competing against the best horses that made it look easy. When I first heard about the bonus, I thought it was good for everybody, buyer or seller, gets everybody on the same page, that there's a lot of enthusiasm with the horse already, and I think that just helps add to it. I think these Runhappies, the public already wants to like them. That's a great thing, and I think that's a little icing on the cake for the whole deal.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures, and there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guy's gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races on a gorgeous Sunday afternoon in Elmont, New York. Our show brought to you in part by the champion sprinter Runhappy. Never lost in his career while sprinting. He did it all while racing medication-free. Now standing at Claiborne Farm for $25,000. We're going to see those offspring hitting the racetrack in 2020. There he is in legendary stall number 1 at Claiborne, where he stands for $25,000. Win next summer at Saratoga in a non-restricted maiden special weight, and there's a $100,000 bonus on the line.
Pretty excited to see those.
It's going to make it a lot more interesting when we see some Runhappies in those 2-year-old races.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. They're selling good at the sales, and it's an exciting time.
We're underway in late pick 5s, both here at Belmont and at Churchill Downs. We had a thriller on Super Saturday. All these races were tremendous, including the drama that played out in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Code of Honor, Travers winner, taking on older horses for the first time. He actually put a nose in front of Vino Rosso, who went to the lead in this race. Then a little bumping occurred, and the stewards would make a change.
Yeah, and you know what? When we saw it happen, I thought there was going to be an inquiry. There wasn't. Not for quite some time. They had actually come back, and a lot of the horses were unsaddled. All of a sudden, the inquiry comes up on the board, and it took them 20 minutes to just make a decision. And you know, I thought it was the right call. It could have went either way, but the longer they took, and then when they made the announcement, then that's when the controversy started. And really, there shouldn't have been any controversy. I thought it was the correct call when you're going 40 miles an hour, and he made the lead, and after contact, that's when Vino Rosso came back. And I've rode enough races to know at 40 miles an hour, when there's contact, it affects it, especially when these horses are getting a little bit tired, going 1.25 miles. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think it was the right call, and standing down there and watching everything happen from the winner's circle. And I think what's pretty key, too, what seemed like at the moment before the first contact happened, watching it back a couple of times, Irad Ortiz was left-handed with the crop at that point, and that's kind of when Vino Rosso moved out a little bit. So it was a little bit more than just hurting that did happen in the stretch.
So here's the quote from the stewards. The 3, Vino Rosso, drifts out several times under a left-handed crop, making contact and pushing him out. The number 2, Code of Honor, comes back to lose by a nose. After reviewing the video and speaking to the riders involved, the 3, Vino Rosso, is disqualified from first and placed second. Behind the 2, Code of Honor, the new order finishes 2, 3, 1, 4. So they didn't tell us a whole lot in there, playing it close to the vest. As for Todd Pletcher, whose Vino Rosso was DQ'd from a Grade 1 win, here's his thoughts.
To me, it was a classic horse race, you know, from the top of the stretch to the finish line, 2 horses hooked up. You know, I thought they brushed. To me, neither horse was ever knocked off stride. Neither horse lost momentum because of it. It was a case of race riding. Irad drifted out a little bit. Johnny drifted in a little bit. watched a lot of races. To me, you know, I felt pretty comfortable watching the head-on that there would not be a disqualification. I was surprised when there was. Sometimes you're on the right side of them, sometimes you're on the wrong side. It's you know, it's a tough pill to swallow when it's in a Grade 1 significant race like the Jockey Club. I don't believe there's going to be an appeal. I spoke to both owners last night, and they were sort of split, but with one ownership not wanting to appeal, then you know, they agreed that they would not. So I plan to meet with the stewards today as well. Just I'd like an explanation of what they saw that I didn't feel like I saw the same thing. But you know, seldomly in these appeal situations does anything really come out of it.
Well, Mike Rapoli, part of that ownership group of Vino Rosso, he was actually watching this race abroad in Italy. He was not a fan of this decision, as you might expect in here, but he had said consistency for him is an issue.
That is the issue, and it's been an issue clear across the country. The different rules and what you have to play by as a rider. 20 years ago, when I first came to New York, that was an automatic DQ. You knew you were going to be DQ'd if you made contact like that, the slightest thing. Not so much in California. Now it's gone the other way. It's been rough and tumble. These riders, they ride aggressive. They're young, they're strong, they're aggressive, and it can be dangerous at times. But I can tell you from what I've seen over the summer, if that would have been the last race, a $40,000 New York bred race, I don't think they would have taken it down.
We'll have plenty more time to talk about it. Interesting decision, and it may have decided a 3-year-old championship as we send it downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Horses heading out for this race here. It is a maiden special weight on the turf, 6 furlongs. Lona Mona, she's going to turn back for the first time in her career. I don't see it, but at least it looks as though Christoph has her sharp. Physically, she looks like a miler. She really hasn't developed much, hasn't gotten any stronger behind the saddle. So we'll see, as we'll talk about number 8, Rousey. Presumably named for Ronda Rousey, here for Jorge Abreu. While there's pedigree at the top side for turf, she physically doesn't look it, but they have done nothing but work her on the turf. She looks ready to go, though. Very strong behind the saddle, like what I'm seeing from this firster. Greg?
All right, Maggie, thank you. Our post parade coming up here for the 6th race as we approach the 8-minute mark to post. That right there, the one to beat. That's Corey Scores 3-2. Short price, as you would expect, on the Chad Brown barn and Irad Ortiz Jr. But again, this is start number 7. And has burned up some money as the favorite. In fact, the first 3 starts of her career as they walk through that tunnel. So do you really want to take a chance again at that short price?
No. Very simple.
And from an outside post as well in this 6 furlong sprint. 105,000 plus in the pick 4 pool coming up. We start with Freddie Mo, Factor Mark Hennig. Turns back in distance and blinkers go on.
Blinkers go on. Ran a nice race last time out. The first race that it ran in was just kind of a schooling race, it looks like to me.
Good luck, Larry Collmus. Plink Freud, Tom Bush.
Pretty easy to say Pink Floyd for sure. Now this one's been one of those horses that's been knocking on the doors. Had 8 tries already, this 3-year-old filly.
Mighty Knight has 1 start, was 64-1 and was 12th in a 12-horse field.
In a new barn now, Peter Chien, and was a big price first time out and a big price today.
Pendolino, Eric Cancel rides for Tim Hill, 2nd time on the turf.
Pendolino ran 3rd last time, beaten 9 lengths, and gets another half furlong to try and make up that ground.
Lo Namona, Waterville Lake Stable filly here for Christophe Clement.
She has shown some speed in a couple of her races. Last time out was a disappointing performance. She'll turn back in distance. We'll see if she can handle sprinting with Joel Rosario sticking aboard.
Eddie Barker takes a filly back that used to be in his barn, Winifred J.
Yeah, and this filly, she's raced 8 times. She's hit the board 4 out of those 8 tries, was beaten 2 lengths in her last race.
I was such a huge Ronda Rousey fan, and this is a filly daughter of Violence. Yeah, I would assume named after Ronda.
That could make sense for sure. And here's the horse if you don't trust those ones at shorter prices with experience. You want a first-time starter who's been working on the turf. And by Violence, you throw some nice turf horses. This might be where you land.
Pat Kelly with a couple of runners in here. This is one of them. Fight on Lucy. Did show some speed last start. Now the blinkers come off.
The blinkers come off, and it's interesting. There were no blinkers her first 2 races, and she ran a 2nd and a 3rd, and she went downhill as soon as the blinkers went on, so they're off today.
Here's the other Pat Kelly runner. This is Toss Up Luis Reyes.
A horse that looked like they had some high hopes for her at the start with a big purchase price, $230,000. Last time was her first race on the turf.
And our favorite for the Chad Brown Barn, daughter of More Than Ready, Corey Scores, Irad Ortiz Jr.
Yeah, Corey is going to try and score today, but she's had seconditis her last couple of races and going to try and pull out of that slump today.
Late pick 4, it starts here. You can get signed up, started, and play along with us all meet long, Breeders' Cup and beyond with NYRA Bets. Bet $200, you'll get a $200 new member bonus in your account when you use that promo code LIVE at sign up. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime with NYRABets.com or download the NYRA Bets app. Good luck to everybody playing this afternoon. Meanwhile, prices from back at Churchill Downs. Start of that late pick 5. Take Charge Doro for Pat Byrne. Declan Carroll returns $14.20. So good start to the late pick 5 if you happen to have that one.
A good start indeed, and this horse, a nice move under Declan Carroll, took advantage of your favorite showing some speed, Aquadini, who checks in third, and Sassy King, the other one taking money, checks in second, but you've got a nice $14.20 payoff there.
So there's Corey Scores, 3-2 favorite. Irad Ortiz Jr. has been on board this 3-year-old filly for the majority of her starts in here. You know, that start 2 back showed a lot of promise and then showed a very different running style. She got off out of the gate slow and almost was to her advantage 2 back.
Yeah, you almost wonder if she wants to be taken back. And I don't like her post position today. Stuck clear out on the outside. I think this race could get messy. There's a lot of horses that have the same running style in here. If that happens, Ortiz is going to have to get her back to try and save some ground from that post position. He's got to either go or he's got to take back to get it. And I don't think the lead is the place to be with this filly.
And meanwhile, a filly here who is moving back up in class, and she actually has run at this condition before. It was at a mile on the turf, and Acacia had a pretty good showing.
Yeah, she did. It's interesting. Eddie Barker reclaims this horse. He had her for CR Thoroughbreds for most of her career. She had one start with Jeremiah Englehart at Saratoga last time, where she ran really well to be second for Maiden 40. She is stepping back up in here, sticking with the state-bred competition, but she does have Javier Castellano, who rode her at the start of her career. She actually has had a couple of good races. It seems like her best turf races, though, have either come, or excuse me, her best races have either come for a tag or maybe on the main track. Some of her main track races seem a little bit stronger. So not sure what we're going to get from her, but she does have speed.
Let's get more trackside from Maggie.
Take a look at a horse returning to sprint distances on the turf, and that's number 1, Freddie Mo Factor. As the blinkers go on, 3/4 cup on this filly for trainer Mark Hennig. Look, I guess the 6 furlongs is okay. I'm not totally convinced. She's actually a little bit of a bigger type of filly, but she does seem strong, at least throughout her hindquarters in here, and sharp. So I'm not thrilled, but it's an interesting angle, at least with that turn back, blinkers on. Number 6, Lona Mona, as I really don't think physically she is one that's necessarily suited to sprinting. Chris Alcamont knows better than I, as Anthony Stabile and David Aragona on our simulcast in-house show this morning noted that at NYRA with his turf horses, I think maidens, turning back from routes to sprints is hitting it like 40%, at 40%. So that's pretty astonishing considering that most of the time these turnbacks don't work. And like I said in the paddock, she's remained sharp out on the racetrack. So that is a good sign, at least mentally, she's ready for this cutback. And then a long shot that I kind of just keep going back to for some reason is number 9, Fight on Lucy. And I like the point that Gary brought up that her best races came without the blinkers. And finally, they come off now nearly a year later. And I thought that she looked better than ever again last time, and I think she looks better than ever this time again. So maybe with the blinkers off, she won't fight the rider as much, and maybe she settles a bit more because she ran okay enough on the turf to suggest that she deserves another shot on it. So she's my bomb as she sits at 31-1. Greg.
I'm with Maggie, and you brought up things you like about this field. I think she's going to be in front, or has a chance to be, and if she is 31-1, why not take a chance?
That's too high a price, and I love the way she looks out there on the racetrack, nice and relaxed, and just got her head down, and looks like she's pretty focused and relaxed at the same time.
Feels like sometimes taking the blinkers off too can just kind of help them settle in the fact that they can see their surroundings. They can see the other horses around them. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. They're herd animals at the end of the day, and maybe that's the case with Corey Scores, is that she's just a little bit hesitant to get to the front and kind of get by herself. You know, she wants to stay with her friends. And last time out, 2 starts back, excuse me, she had the outside post and she was off slow. And she closed and actually ran well. I feel like closing today is going to be her best bet. Will she be able to pass horses late, though?
That's a big question. She hasn't been able to pass horses late in the last 16th of a mile. I think you're right about she wants to be in that herd. She doesn't want to lead the herd. She wants to be second or third, but not don't put me in front. But who knows? Maybe today is her day. But at 6 to 5, I think there's some other value in there.
Yeah, this barn usually, and he had this filly ready to go first time out. She ran big. She was 4 to 5. She got beat, but they usually move forward pretty quickly out of the Chad Brown barn, and now this is opportunity number 7. So bit of a negative. Also with that outside post, a negative is Freddie Mo Factor. I thought was intriguing. She was close to the pace last time out, going a mile. Now blinkers go on, cuts back in distance. Now was her first start of her 3-year-old campaign. First start in about 8 months.
Yeah.
More than 8 months.
I'm looking at Mona right now, shortening up. She's run long in all 4 of her starts, and I like that she's cutting back in distance today.
Could just be the right spot for her. Maggie mentioning maybe she doesn't really look like a sprinter, but if she's conditioned, she's fit, she's going to be keen to pass horses. That just might be the right spot for her. Still intrigued by the first-time starter in here in Rousey. I've really been a big fan of Violence on the turf. The siblings have not really been that productive. She's out of an unraced mare, but she does have that Violence influence. Manny Franco has had a very, very, very solid Belmont meet, riding with a lot of confidence.
Yeah, we're talking about the 8 Rousey, and then Jorge Abreu, he has sent out 4 debut winners at this meet. So looking for number 5 here, so very dangerous.
29% with his first-time starters with 39 starters. That's pretty good.
Look out. 5 to 1 on the board right now. 6 to 5 favorite, though. This one right here for Chad Brown. Corey Scores from the outside post. Let's send it upstairs to the voice of New York racing, Larry Collmus.
They're all in line. They're off. Winifred J. straight out to the early lead. Corey Scores on the outside with some early foot too. Fight on Lucy, toss up in that leading group. So too Freddie Mo Factor 5th on the inside. Then Loch Namona, followed by Rousey to the outside. Plink Freud and Pendolino are next. And the trailer is Mighty Knight. Up the backstretch and moving for the far turn. Winifred J. on top, the leader by a length. Corey Scores on the far outside. At the rail, it's Freddie Mo Factor, who's up into 3rd position now. Taking 4th is toss-up. Fight on Lucy drops back between horses. 22:39, that opening quarter mile. Loch Namona's got 6.5 lengths to make up in a bit of traffic there. Passed by Rousey on the outside, then Plink Freud, Pendolino, and Mighty Knight is last at the top of the stretch. Winifred J. Turning for home in front, Corey Scores. Now 2 lengths behind, but starting to flatten out a bit. Passed by toss-up on the outside, who's up into 2nd now. Corey Scores is 3rd. Toward the inside, it's Freddie Mo Factor in 4th. But it is Winifred J. who is running away. Javier Castellano and Winifred J. going to do it. The race is going to be for 2nd, and it's going to be Plink Freud to get up on the outside of Freddie Mo Factor and then Loch Namona.
You don't see margins of victory this large in turf sprints a whole lot. Winifred J. Dominant performance here in the 6th under Javier Castellano.
Yeah, and good for Edward Barker. This filly, she was claimed back last time. He lost her 2 back. We talked about that before the race, and he must have loved her, and I can understand why now.
Reclaim for sure, and she showed that speed, and she managed to just pull away from the rest of the field. And Corey Scores, Ira Ortiz had her forwardly placed, and there she is right at this point where he's asking her, and just like we were saying, she just wanted to stay in with her friend. She didn't want to go past anybody.
Race was for 2nd in here. That's how dominant Winifred J. was. And I believe, get a look at the wire here. Ooh,
2 got it.
2 got it, yeah. Plink Freud. Tom Bush. 5 to 1 over 5 to 1. No question about this performance and sharp final time as well. 1:08 and 1. for the 6 furlongs on turf here. The reclaim for Eddie Barker, Javier Castellano, CR Thoroughbreds, Daughter of Blame with the win to start off the late pick 4 here on this Sunday afternoon at Belmont Park.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or NYRA Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
Thanks again, Javier.
Welcome back to America's Day at the races, and pretty nice reclaim here by the Eddie Barker barn as Eddie, wow, taking it to him.
I thought she would run this way because she's been training super since we took her back. I mean, she's a lot better than what she looked like coming off the first race, but you know, she's a really talented little filly, you know.
Well, a dirtied up form because she hadn't had that many chances on the turf, and they were by far her best.
That's correct. I mean, and every time we went to run it, it came off the grass. And then the last 2 races of last year, the Aqueduct, she slopped, and the Aqueduct heavy track. We said, let's give it a winter off. And that being said, we took a shot and put her in for the 40, and you know, we lost her and kind of. We didn't expect to lose, to tell you the truth. And we took her back because, you know, she's a really nice, handy little horse, you know.
Is that something that you would consider doing often, is taking a horse back that you know?
Very rarely.
Yeah.
Very rarely. I mean, she was training great going into the first race. She might have needed that race, but it was Saratoga, and we took a shot, and, you know, and I'm just happy that we got her back, and happy that Dr. Riegler was willing to go back in for her, you know.
And she kept the condition and could raise her up, going the maiden special weight. Congratulations, Eddie.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thanks again.
You got it. As Winifred J, man, wow. Greg, she really exploded down the stretch, and it pays to go back in for one that you know every now and again.
Certainly paid off here for Eddie Barker. I mean, she was so dominant. I don't know what the final margin was, but it was many, many lengths. And again, 108-1.
And she was showing it from the word go. She broke so sharp and was in hand with Javi. And when he pushed the button coming off the turn, she linked into her stride, and outstanding performance.
She paid $12.60 to win, too, so she had a little bit of a price. That's definitely going to help you in the pick 5. Maybe you had a little bit of chalky early pick 5, but her with Bank Examiner, that's going to help a little bit for sure. But good to see Eddie Barker be able to step her back up to special weight as well. Made the right decision there.
Case of, again, just the name being overbet. Chad Brown taking all that money with the favorite, who had been beaten on several occasions as we set up the 7th here at Belmont Park. And this is a horse who could be a potential superstar performer. Sort of had a coming out party at Saratoga. We saw the maiden special weight win at Belmont late June, which was very impressive as well. But then at Saratoga, that was huge back on August 24th. Now going to stretch out for the first time beyond 6.5 furlongs, take on a 1-turn mile and a 16th for Shug McGahee. We'll get back to performer in the 7th, though, at Belmont. Right now, the 7th at Churchill. 6 furlongs, 50,000 claiming race, non-winners of 2 lifetime and Love to Learn. Brian Lynch, just 1 for 14 lifetime, but the 2-to-1 favorite.
We've got connections that are doing well here, too. Corey Landry, your leading jockey now, and Brian Lynch second in the standing. So maybe you see a little bit of the name recognition, too. Second off the bench, you might do something.
Yeah, and Brian having a great meet. As you said, he's won 3 races that are showing on the form. I don't know exactly how many he has. You
I
do.
have 4 for 10 on
Okay,
BF.
so this one here taking a class drop with the leading rider and second leading trainer right now.
But you can't feel that confident with Love to Learn with a record that she's put forth to this point. I thought there were several contenders in this race. Bill Mott with Bonnet, the 6, coming off a maiden win. That came at Ellis.
That's who I like in here. You don't see Billy winning with horses too often, maiden special weight. Now he's dropping in for 50, and believe me, those races at Ellis, they weren't easy races. Running for a lot of money there now, so there you go.
Adhere to Me on the outside with a good beginning. Twice around from mid-pack, and Bonnet is there. Super Wonder Girl, 4th and down inside as Lady of Luxury backs off to be 5th in the early stages. Miss Hannah comes away in 6th. Lunar Orbit is back 7th at a Templuna, who's 8th by 3. And Love to Learn's the last of them all in the opening quarter mile. Long shot twice around in front to the half-mile pole. Bonnet is asked to pick it up on the outside second, chasing this pace onto the far turn. 2 lengths back. Adhere to Me is now 3rd. Outside of Super Wonder Girl, who's down inside 4th. Lady of Luxury's winding up with a wide bit out of 5th. Miss Hannah's in some traffic back in 6th. 3 lengths back. Love to Learn has made progress. Moved up 2 spots within 6 lengths of the lead. And then it's Templuna, and Lunar Orbit is at the back of the pack. 21-3 was the opening quarter mile. Here comes Bonnet looking for the lead. Lady of Luxury's bearing down on the outside as Twice Around gives way. Super Wonder Girl's in behind. Miss Hannah's now 4th on the outside into the final 16th. Lady of Luxury strikes to lead, and she kicks away. Lady of Luxury rolls home from off the pace to 3-length winner. Super Wonder Girl grabs 2nd from Bonnet, and Miss Hannah was 4th.
Larry Jones, Lady of Luxury. Gabriel Saez, daughter of Mark Valesky, with the win here in the Sabbath at Churchill.
Yeah, and Gable's having a really good summer. He's won over 70 races this year. He's been strong throughout, and teams up with Larry Jones here. This one coming off of a layoff since June, and ran for 50,000 last time out back in June, and gets the money off the layoff today.
She had a little bit of trouble in that race as well for 50 when dropping in. I think she had a bit of a freshening now. She turns back to the 6 furlongs and comes back at the level that she needed to be at. You saw the 5 twice around setting the pace with Bonnet up there. Looked like she was going to be in a good spot, but nice move by Gabe Saez to take advantage and get Lady of Luxury up at 9-2.
Third choice on the board at 9-2, and scoots away from this group late to get the 2nd win of her career. She won 2nd time out. Sloppy racetrack that was taken off the turf at Fairgrounds, and now gets a W at Churchill as well. So 9-2, leg 2 of that late pick 5. Again, mandatory payout day. We'll have those prices coming up in just a little bit. Continuing to revisit our Super Saturday races from yesterday, and in the Vosburg, Imperial Hint coming off that track record-setting performance at Saratoga in the Vanderbilt, that 114 buyer. This appeared to be, at least going into the race, it would be easy pickings. That was not the case at all. Firenze Fire gave Imperial Hint a fight of his life.
Yeah, and I love this. Freezing Fire actually put a long head on him. It looked like he was home free. And the tighter it got, the more that an Imperial Hint liked it. He's gutty, he's tough, and Javier couldn't even get to his whip because they was riding so close. He didn't need it. This horse loves to win.
I saw a couple of things on Twitter yesterday. That quote from, we saw it, I think, made famous in Seabisc, if you're a racing fan, though he be but little, he is fierce. And I think that so applies to Imperial Hint. How could you not love this? He's small. He's a very, very small horse. And Firenze Fire has the size advantage on him, but he came back so gamely, so gutsy, has that competitive nature that some thoroughbreds have it. They have it by nature, but some have it more than others, and he certainly does.
He looked beat, and that is a tough place to be in, down on the inside, and there where the horse puts a head in front of you. let me ask you this, though. That kind of performance now, we were talking about this off
Yes.
air, that hard you have to fight in a race like this, now go to the Breeders' Cup. He's a diminutive horse. Is that a bad sign going into the Breeders' Cup Sprint?
No, it's not a bad sign, but how many times can he do this? I mean, he ran that outstanding race in Saratoga, sets a track record, and now has to go through what he went through yesterday. And you just wonder how many races. And we're only just over a month out from Breeders' Cup. He's got a ship. He's a hardy little horse. It's not that he's small in a good way. He's compact.
Yeah.
When they call him the little rocket, that's what he is. He's built like a little rocket. And for me, you just wonder, will it be too taxing on him to not have a little rest before then with what he had to do yesterday?
And in case you're going to be facing a Matoli who's coming in fresh. Some other faces, of course, the ultra-talented Chancellor. We're going to see what he's going to do next weekend, of course. But Matoli coming in fresh, that could be a problem.
It really could be. Matoli coming in off of his win in the Forgo, and he is a force to be reckoned with. He had a poor performance a couple starts back when he was in a bad part of the racetrack at Saratoga, came back and just kind of put any doubters to rest. And he's a top sprinter. We've got, as Greg mentioned, Chancelot, who was beaten last time out after an explosive victory. Omaha Beach, a little bit intriguing. He's on the sprinter contenders list now as well, but I think Matoli's the main face that Frenzy Fire is going to have to deal with.
Don't count out Promises Fulfilled, too.
Yep.
Scratched out of this race the other day. Going to run at Keeneland as a prep. Here is Matoli, though, working at Belmont. This was on Friday, 4 furlongs and 50 flat.
Yeah, and this is a typical Lasmussen work right here. Well in hand. It almost looks like he's galloping. I mean, he's got his neck down and bowed. And usually with Steve's workouts, the actual workout starts when they hit the finish line on the gallop out. But this does not. This looks like he's going 55 instead of 50. Excuse me. And that's the type of mover he is.
Well, I think everyone, and we want to thank XBTV for that footage as well, but everyone very excited to see what happens next with Chancelot, who was so sensational. Highest Beyer speed figure for a 3-year-old sprinter in the history of those numbers when he won the Amsterdam. Then they tried to stretch him out to 7. He got caught late. How does he come back? I think he's the interesting 3-year-old in the division.
I thought that when I saw him win the Amsterdam, it was as impressive of performance I've seen in a horse, and I swear, as when I was a kid and I saw Secretariat, I told my brother, I said, remember where I was this day, and I couldn't believe that he got beat. I like him going back to 6 furlongs.
It was that kind of performance when he won the Amsterdam. We're going to set it downstairs, check in with Maggie Wolfendale.
Here in the paddock for what is a very good allowance race in which we see Performer coming back here, going the mile and a 16th off the back of that 6.5 furlong win at Saratoga. And leading up to that effort, it was publicized that he was the often workmate of Code of Honor, our then Travers winner, and eventual Jockey Club Gold Cup winner as of yesterday. Performer's going to try to stretch out here, and he looks as though he could be controlling things on the front end. He is sharp here in the paddock. This is actually the first time I've seen this horse in the paddock. I've seen him in the mornings and in workouts and so on and so forth, and obviously out on the racetrack, but I don't have that much familiarity with him as far as pre-race goes, but he looks sensational here. He's a big, solid boy. Yeah, he might be a little bit better going shorter, but then again, I don't know how steep the competition is, and furthermore, he just looks to have things his own way. Now, number 1 is Mijos, who I've often questioned now, has he just not gone on as a 3-year-old? And I just can't say that definitively looking at him, because he has gotten better. This is the best I've seen him appear so far this year. And yes, maybe he is better going a little bit shorter, but 1-term mile and a 16th, I'd be willing to take a shot here with Mijos. As a horse who is a long shot in here is number 5, Bonus Points. Got a prep race at Laurel on the turf, first time out from Mike Trombetta. Gets back to his preferred surface, and I think it's another one that does look better than ever in here, and he's feeling good. He's sharp. Not that he's a front-running type, but I like the way that he is presenting himself here in the paddock, second off the bench for these connections. Well, they all have Performer to beat here in today's 7th race, so we'll see if any threats come from Mijos or Grump's Little Tot. Stay tuned, you're watching America's Day at the Races.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Piranha, the leader in fly control and wipe and spray products, now has premium equine grooming products. Introducing Aloe Pro Shampoo, an organic concentrate enriched with vitamins A, D, and E, and silk protein. Piranha Detangler, a dry comb-through detangling spray that conditions, moisturizes, keeping tail and mane manageable. And Shine Baby Shine, a water-based coat conditioner that leaves a show ring shine every time. Visit piranhaeat.com to see our full line of equine products, and for a limited time, use promo code NYRA to receive a 10% discount on your order. Piranha on, pests gone.
Give it 900 and about 900,000. Thank you.
He struck me as a classic distance type horse. The way he moved, his efficiency of his stride.
It was a freakish victory, and it was one of the reasons that made Cupid a horse to really keep an eye on.
To come off a long break like Cupid did, it's almost impossible, and just goes to show you the quality of horse he is.
Welcome to America's Day at the Races on Fox Sports 2, MSG Plus, and those just joining us on Fox Sports Prime Ticket. Great to have you with us on this Sunday afternoon here in Elmont, New York. Our show brought to you in part by America's Best Racing, the go-to site covering the sport and lifestyle. Visit americasbestracing.net today. Blue skies, cool, calm weather, and we have our best yet to come with a Grade 2 Miss Grillo prep for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf to come, a race that has been absolutely dominated ever since it's been instituted by Chad Brown. We'll talk more about that feature coming up. Greg Wolf alongside Hall of Fame rider Gary Stevens, four-time Major League All-Star Paul LoDuca, and that Miss Grillo, a lot of talk obviously going to center on Cristal in there. She was DQ'd first time out at 41-1, controversial disqualification at Saratoga. She'd come back to win and break her maiden in a graded stakes race, the PG Johnson next out.
Yeah, and nothing went right in there. I have no idea how she got up and won. She got left at the gate. She actually had her head turned sideways when they opened the gate, and I thought she was hopelessly beaten. And she sat back and was relaxed, and she circled wide, and a strong finish.
Let's go downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
Here with trainer Shug McGahee as he'll send out Performer looking for his third win in a row. Shug, but stretching out in distance, talk about the game plan here.
Well, it looks like there's one speed horse in there, Jason Services. You know, if we break good, I think we'll be in good position. Just kind of let him run his race.
It's a horse that you've highly regarded. I mean, working with Code of Honor a lot, too.
Well, we've always liked him, you know, and his race last year as a 2-year-old was a pretty good race, and then came back in his 2 races this year were good. I thought his race at Saratoga was really good, you know, because he was back a little farther and he ran down a horse that was still running. So, you know, I've always thought that he wanted to run it a little bit farther than he has been, so we'll find out today.
Shug, I'm sure you're still living on cloud 9 after the performance of Code of Honor yesterday in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Are we on to the Breeders' Cup? What's the game plan for the next race?
Well, you're right about that. We're really pleased. But, well, you know, I'll give him a few days and let him see how he comes out of it, which it looks like is really good. I'll talk to Mr. Parrish and we'll come up with a game plan, whether it's a Breeders' Cup or not, who knows. But, you know, it's sure on our books.
Cigar Mile on your books?
Well, that's something to think about.
I like it, Shug. Well, best of luck here with Performer. Very exciting horse to watch.
All right, thank you, Maggie.
All right, Shug McGahee, Hall of Famer, for a reason, and he'll send out Performer here as we are still living in the shadow. Code of Honor's performance yesterday in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, Greg.
Well, Maggie, was a thriller, and yes, according to connections, Mr. Farish saying that yes, Cigar Mile is on the radar if they don't go to the Classic. As we get our post parade here coming up for the 7th, here is Mijos. This is a horse who was in the Dwyer against Code of Honor. He was 4-1 in that race.
Yeah, and he didn't run bad. He was beaten 6.5 lengths that day, and looks like he's getting class relief when he was entered in this, but it's a tough race.
Grump's Little Tots, he was on the Triple Crown Trail briefly, ran 3rd in the Easy Goer as well.
Yeah, and you can see Jason Service backed up on him in April and sort of got him back in form. That win at Saratoga last time looms large.
Long shot, no distortion, trained by Bob Dunham.
Yeah, look, he's up against it here, but he's 6-year-old, has won 8 of his 39 races. Big price right now.
Back-to-back wins by Performer, and that last start made you think at Saratoga this could be a future star.
Yeah, this horse got a ton of talent and a bullet drill, which is unlike Shug for this horse. But I would think the mile in the 16th shouldn't be a problem.
And here's bonus points. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard for Mike Trombetta, who's been battle-tested in Stakes Company.
Yeah, and this horse, he's got the right running style. I mean, he sits just off the pace, but he's going to have to improve dramatically to win today.
He's a stakes winner at Laurel. And then here's Dynamax Prime on the outside. Rob Atras, horse who has tackled some tough company like Mr. Buff the last couple of starts, so he's been runner-up too.
Yeah, runner-up, and he's right there every time. He's honest. He's won 8 races in his career.
Well, Performer, lots of buzz about this horse, but this is not an easy field that he has taken on here, giving up a lot of experience. Prices from Churchill, and it's Lady of Luxury taking that 7th race at 9-2, $11 for the win. Congratulations to Larry Jones, former governor. Brereton Jones and Gabriel Saez aboard for the winning ride. The next race, that 8th, a lot of money right now on Necker Island. We'll talk more about that field in a bit. But here's Performer. Phipps Stable, Shug McGahee, Joel Rosario. Couple back beat a horse by the name of Free Enterprise who would come back and post a 101 buyer and be just a few ticks off the track record.
Yeah, he's got the grinding style that you would think that a horse that would love a distance of ground. Shug's horses usually do get better as they progress, and he's obviously been precocious already. And Gary, I asked you earlier, like, just looking at the horse's stride, you feel there's not going to be any issue?
No, I didn't hesitate when you asked me. When I watched that horse coming off the turn at Saratoga, you know who he reminded me of? I think he's going to like Belmont even more than he liked Saratoga. A big red horse named Easy Goer that had those same silks on there with the way his action is, the way he looks. He's got that big stride. I think he's really going to enjoy. I mean, he's won here at Belmont already, but I think this track is going to suit him even better than Saratoga did. And Shug, if he thinks that this horse wants to get a bit further, he said, we'll see. And he kind of laughed. Hey, if he thinks he can go long, I'm pretty sure that he'll be able to go long. And he just ran so much faster the last time. He showed that he could relax, that he's rateable, and that he would finish. And sometimes when they think horses won't stretch out because of their pedigree, a lot of times they'll run above their pedigree because of the mind that they possess, and they'll listen to the rider.
And again, keep in mind, he's not tackling 2 turns today, just a one-turn mile and a 16th as he goes beyond 6.5 furlongs for the first time. But he has shown immense talent in the last 2 starts, back-to-back wins, including that victory we just showed you at Saratoga, 3-5 on the board.
Well, the thing is people that want to knock him say, oh, he's only a 2-time winner, and you got a horse in here like Dynamo Prime, the outside horse, that's an 8-time winner. Well, Performer put T Loves a Fight in a hurt locker, and T Loves a Fight already came back and won here, and he's been a win machine the last like 2 months or so. So, you know, he's pretty darn good. Now, the horse on the inside, Mios, the one, to give him a look with Jimmy Jerkins. Here's a horse that was on Kentucky Derby Trail behind Code of Honor. We talked about the Dwyer. You were talking about that. Does he go to the front here or try to use a little bit of speed, or does Grumpy Little Tots, the 2, go? I'm wondering if Jose Ortiz tries to get aggressive, because when you look in this race, I don't know if Performer really wants to go to lead. I don't think Shug would want Joel on him on the lead, right?
No, here's the thing, is he might be there by default.
By default, yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he can't slow him down. I don't think he's going to. I think if you see a 23 flat, 23-1, that he will be on the lead. or just off of it. But Grump's Little Tots, I think he'll be on the lead.
Back to the 1 for a moment. I know we're looking at the 2, but just to wrap up on Mios, I know he didn't run his race that day, but he does own a win over your Travers and Jockey Club Gold Cup winner, Code of Honor.
Yes,
in
he
the
does.
Mucho Macho Man.
Yeah. Wow.
Meanwhile, Grump's Little Tots, Jason's service, put him in the Wood Memorial back in April, and then he ran 3rd. It was just a 5-horse field in that easy goer, but then sat close to the pace and quickly took over at Saratoga. Looked impressive at 1 1/8.
It was good. It was really good. And, you know, you could draw a line through the wood. The horse got eliminated at the start. And his subsequent start back on June 8th, he had a little bit of trouble. He could have won that. And then Jason had him cranked for the 1 1/8 race. I would guess that's the advantage he has on these horses. Cutting back. He's got the distance on the Performer. I would think that's all he's got on him.
Look at the owner standings brought to you by MyRacehorse.com. Rapoli Stable atop the leaderboard right now. Peter Brandt right behind. Klarovich Stables, your leading owners at Saratoga with 4 victories. And Michael Dubb always in the mix in striking distance as well. Let's check in again with Maggie Wolfendale.
And guys, actually, Performer, when Joel Rosario went to get a leg up on him, Performer not dropped him necessarily, but kind of scooted away from him. Joel found himself on the ground for a second. So he's pretty riled up. Like I said, I have actually never seen this horse before, raced before today. So it might be just how he always is. And don't forget too, sometimes when a horse is trying a longer distance for the first time, especially because here at Belmont it's the 1 turn, it's a long, long straight run. So sometimes they get a little bit more free than you would like to have them. So, whoa, we're all going against Performer here. I have a lot of respect for this horse. I think he's uber talented, but I'm going to try with Mios just for the fact that this is by far off the layoff, as he is 3rd off that extended layoff from the break in the Holy Bull. The best he's looked. He's finally come up. He's across his top line. He's gotten stronger. I'm just going to try him here. I don't know if he'll beat Performer at 1-2, but hey, Greg, we're all trying to.
Everyone going against the horse with all the upside, who was one of the more impressive runners that we saw outside of Stakes Company at the meet.
I like him. I like him to win. I didn't like what Maggie had just said, how he was acting in the paddock, and I don't like that he's getting hot today. We've got a nice, fresh breeze blowing today, and he was sweating up when we had the camera on him when Maggie was talking there. It looks like, you know, he was jiggy jogging a little bit, not completely settled like you would like to see one the first time that they are stretching out to a distance.
Sure, late pick 3. So if you think he's vulnerable, maybe you can start off. I don't know if you want to all it just in case and you want to try to beat a 1-2 shot, or if you think he's bulletproof in here. I do think the 2 at 5-1 is a good price. I just don't know if he's good enough. We'll see.
There he is, and you can see what Gary was talking about. We do have fairly cool out here this afternoon. We do have a nice little breeze. This is the first test going beyond 6.5 furlongs. Can he handle the 1 1/16 here? First time trying it. The son of Speightstown for Shug McGahee and Phipps Stable. Performer trying to make it 3 in a row. The 4-horse, we send it upstairs to Larry Collmus.
Bonus points going into the starting gate. Dynamax Prime will come up to the outside stall and be the last one to load. They're all in line. They're off. A very good start for Performer. And bonus points comes out running in second. Mijos now through on the inside, and Mijos will challenge Performer early. Then Dynamax Prime, Grump's Little Tots, and No Distortion. Up the backstretch, Performer in front. And now getting away to a 1.5 lead as Mijos will sit back and sit second early on. And then comes Grump's Little Tots up into 3rd position. So the 3-year-old's leading the way up the backstretch. Then it's bonus points in 4th and racing 4.5 lengths off the lead. Just clear of Dynamax Prime and No Distortion. That first quarter was 24.09. Not particularly fast here for front-running Performer. And Joel Rosario who lead it by a 1.5. Jose Ortiz has guided Mijos to the outside to sit second. Grump's Little Tots is 3rd at the rail, racing for the far turn. And then it's back to bonus points. Dynamax Prime and No Distortion trails Performer, who's run a 47.69 half, and heads round the far turn with Mijos a half length behind, running along in second. Grump's Little Tots has the rail and has running room inside of Performer. It's going to be sent on through there by Jose Lezcano, and Grump's Little Tots has confronted Performer coming to the top of the stretch, and now they are nose to nose. And Mijos is backpedaled. Bonus points is now up into third, then Dynamax Prime. 3/4, 111.42. Performer trying to repel this bid of Grump's Little Tots. Bonus points is third on the outside. Performer put to a drive with a furlong to run. Grump's Little Tots fights him from the inside. Bonus points is trying to come on from third, but Performer's got something left, and Performer's able to stretch out in style. Performer has done it. Grump's Little Tots was second. Bonus points and Dynamax Prime.
Well, it's got dicey for a little bit for Performer, but he showed he can handle a bit of a fight, handled the mile and a 16th. 3 wins in a row.
Good race, good race. Gary and I was like, what is Lezcano going to do? Is he going to take a shot up the rail or not with the 2? Because he has some horse here. They were going slow. And I think Jose realized that, and he said, you know what, I better start this race now if I'm going to win this, because if Performer keeps on going on the front end, he's going to walk around the racetrack. He made it a race.
Yeah, he made it a race, but, you know, that's the best thing that can happen when you're riding a horse that you think has got a lot of talent, and there is a question of can they go long that first time that you do it. You don't want to wind up in a speed duel, and he wound up getting a free first 1/4 of a mile. Yeah. So it changed the whole race. I'm sure that Joel had a smile on his face when he hit the turn going over there. He knew how slow he got away with, and he could feel it underneath him, as you do. And he let Lezcano come up on the inside of him, and he knew he had a lot of horse. And under a strong hand ride right here, and then it looked like he was going to get a little bit late the last 100 yards or so, and he really didn't. He was holding these horses sway, and I thought it was an impressive win for the first time going long for him.
He beats a field that had a couple of stakes winners in here, some others that were stakes placed. This is a good win.
No, Grumpy Little Tots, the horse on the inside, like, he turned away a good horse. Mijos just didn't fire. And here's the 5 bonus points is a horse that if you go back and look, this horse has got almost $550,000 in the bank and a 6-time winner. So you're right. He beat some older horses here that are okay. And Shug's got a couple good 3-year-olds, you would think, that have been put on display yesterday with Code of Honor, and this one in Performer.
Travers winner, Jockey Club Gold Cup winner, his 18 3-year-old, and this is a pretty good backup here in Performer for that man right there, the Hall of Famer. Shug McGahee rolling right now. In the second half of the year, 1-2 on Performer, handles the mile and a 16th just fine at 1-2. Our feature race coming up next.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. With Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf, and star performers both at home and abroad, Warfront's success as an international super sire is unmatched. Recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach and Preakness Stakes hero War of Will. In the sales ring, his $2.4 million sale topper at Keeneland September was the highest price yearling sold in North America last year. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
I think the WIN program is a very positive and important thing for breeders, because if the stud farm supports the breeders that support their stallions, that's an important thing to me. I want to know that the stud farm also has the breeder's interest in their mind. This year we had a mare that we wanted to breed to a stallion that we thought might be a little bit over her budget, but when we realized that we had the WIN awards for our business plan, it worked perfectly into getting that mare to that stallion at WinStar.
A popular victory here in race number 7 at Belmont Park, back on America's Day at the races, as Performer answers the distance question today for Hall of Fame trainer Shug McGahee, as he joins me here in the winner's circle after They tried you, Shug. They tried Performer today, but he proved resilient.
Well, yeah, it was probably good that horse came up on the inside of him because I think he was just loafing along, sort of enjoying what he was doing. And that kind of put him back in the game. But, you know, this is a little bit of a new dimension, him being in front, but, you know, we can handle that. And, you know, I'm pleased with the way he ran.
Now, Shug, he's a horse that kind of got a later start to his 3-year-old campaign. Was this one that all along that you thought could be a stakes performer?
Well, yeah, we always liked him even as a 2-year-old, and finally got him to the races. I galloped him out of the gate one morning at Saratoga last year as a 2-year-old, and he kind of buckled his ankle a little bit, so I lost a little time. And then we got him to the races, and then, you know, I just said, let's just wait on him. And I can't remember why it was so late in the year that we, you know, this summer that we got there. But that's fine. You know, we're at this point now where we're looking for a good 4-year-old year. And, you know, maybe we can get another race into him in November or something, somewhere along the line, and then see what we have as a 4-year-old.
He's exciting. He's a big, strapping, good-looking son of Speightstown.
Well, after he ran at Saratoga, you know, he looked good, and Elliot Walden, who stands Speightstown, had approached me about looking at him, and then Claiborne had called, and so, you know, we ended up selling a little piece of him to Claiborne. So hopefully he can go on and win a couple of stakes, so he'll have a stall at Claiborne Farm in the long run.
We love to hear that. Claiborne Farm, one of our big sponsors on the show, and a long relationship with the Phipps and you with their breeding operation. Shug, congratulations with Performer.
Thank you, Maggie.
All right. I couldn't help but kind of think as Performer went in the stalls, guys, as you guys mentioned, the Big Red, easy goer. Doesn't he kind of look like him?
Gary was making that analogy up here to us. And look out, Runhappy. That's maybe stall number 1 might have a new resident one day.
No. Runhappy's going to stay right where he's at. He's in that stall number 1.
This
Maybe
horse
they'll
has
move him
talent,
next
though.
door
I'm
to him.
kidding. This horse
No,
has
you aren't.
talent. It's going to be interesting to see where he goes next, though.
Yeah, Shug's got so many different options, right? I mentioned out throughout the Malibu, which is December, the day after Christmas over at Santa Anita, and that's a grade 1 going 7 furlongs. He can do so many things with this horse, so yeah, I mean, I would think stakes is in his future, definitely.
Maybe should go run a couple in the Cigar Mile.
We'll have
He could put that one in
live
the Cigar
coverage,
Mile,
by the
yeah.
way, of that race, and it could be Code of Honor in that race.
And here's the other thing about Code of Honor, like he doesn't need to point to the Breeders' Cup Classic because now you got the Pegasus, the World Cup, you got so many other things you could go to, so he's got so many options with that horse too.
Back to Churchill, 7/8 coming up here in this maiden special weight, and Necker Island the 9, second time out for Stanley Huff. I mean, this horse had a just brutal trip in the stretch against 3 Technique, a horse who had been the start before that win, second to hopeful winner Basin the start before.
Yeah, and he was kind of dismissed. He was over 20 to 1 that day, and like you said, he had a brutal trip, finished 3rd that day, and second time out for Stanley Huff. You'd expect the horse to improve a little bit, and if he improves a little bit, the horse just inside of him, Noble Empire, ran a huge race for Wayne Lucas up in Saratoga as well last time, set the pace, weakened late, finished 3rd, so he's got some speed just till he was inside.
And he faced a good one too, Paulie, and Famished, who we had heard a lot about at Saratoga, who just ran in the Pilgrim.
Yeah, the thing is if you look, they ran on the same day. It was a split race, Colts and Geldings. In Noble Empire, the 8th heat was a length slower than the 9. That's why the 9 is even money and the 8 is 7-1. But I agree with Gary. Sometimes times can be overrated, but when they're on the same day, it's tough to overlook. But
Yeah.
I think the getting Lasix, the Lucas horses are going to improve. I think that's a great price on the 8th.
I do too. And I loved it. I mean, he was scary at the 8th pole. He looked like he was going to get home.
Yeah.
And really fell apart. But, you know, Wayne's horses, first time out, they usually need one. And if they run 1, 2, 3 their first time out, they've got a lot of talent. So I'd look for improvement.
Necker Island at 9 being slightly stubborn. So son of hard spun Stanley Huff, second time out, the 1 to beat from post 9. Let's go to Travis Stone, race 8 from Churchill Downs.
Waiting for Sharecropper and Suvorov's Hero. And Street Danza, the last one. In the gate and the rough. Zarmé missed the break. It is off near the back of the pack. So too is Sharecropper. Street Danza from mid-pack. Necker Island is there. Hanson's Mischief on the outside. Banks Island at the rail. Noble Empire comes on through two. Onto the main track they go. Hanson's Mischief on the outside goes head-to-head with Necker Island. A break of 2 lengths back. Banks Island comes on to be third down inside. Noble Empire's racing in fourth. Street Danza between them while fifth. And then it's Lynn's Map down inside 6th. Catholic Guilt is 7th. Suvorov's Hero is 8th. Feisty Bird Green in 9th. 3 lengths back, Sharecropper 10th. Code Runner 11th alongside of that one. And a ways back to Zarmé, who's been outrun early. 22 and 3 for the opening quarter mile. Necker Island with a narrow lead. Hanson's Mischief has been keeping pace throughout, and they continue around the far turn together. Noble Empire looms with a 3-wide bid third. Banks Island set to strike, bottled up inside fourth. Catholic Guilt is winding up from fifth. And then it's Lynn's Map, Feisty Bird, and Street Danza. They're off the turn. Necker Island still in front. Hanson's Mischief still in second. Banks Island is begging for racing room. Down inside, has it now, but 2 lengths to make up. Lynn's Map swings outside. Feisty Bird down the center of the track. Necker Island still in front. Final try from Banks Island, who shakes loose very late. Necker Island still there. Banks Island can't get by. Necker Island the winner by a length. Banks Island second. Lynn's Map and Hanson's Mischief.
Necker Island second time out. Gets the job done for Stanley Huff, son of Hard Spun.
Yeah, and just a nice run through the stretch here, holding them at bay, and big improvement second time out. Got the clean trip today, got away good, got good position under Luis Saez, and second place horse there, 3-horse Banks Island. Little rough trip there. I don't know if he was going to get by Banks Island, even if he would have got through on the fence, because he was just holding him at bay.
You're right, Greg. You're pointing out the 9's about twice the size, 9 size than 3, but the 3 ran a bang-up race. I'm with Gary. If 3 would have got out quicker, it would have been closer, but I don't know. The 9 was reaching for more there at the end.
We will return to Belmont after a short break. Our feature race, the Grade 2, Miss Grillo. Prep on the road to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf in Crystal. Winner of the P.G. Johnson. That was her maiden breaking score. Looking to add a graded stakes next.
Coming on strong.
Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th. Opening up a 2-length lead.
Feel my love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing 1, 2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing 1, 2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong.
Tom Durkin letting you know New York breds start with an advantage. At the sales, buyers pay up to 7 figures. And there's over $2 million in stakes money limited to New York sired horses in the New York Stallion Stakes Series, like the Park Avenue for 3-year-old fillies.
Newly minted wins it for fun.
For fun and money. The winner's share generates an additional $55,000 from the New York Breeding Fund.
Funny Guys gonna do it.
Funny Guys winning the Times Square division generates the same money. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
Runhappy was a really nice racehorse. The biggest attribute that I see about him is the way he stamps his foals. You know, they got big, pretty walks on them. They got good hips and shoulders. Very pretty to look at. And, you know, the real strong hind leg. You know, everything that you're looking for as a racehorse. You know, that's what impresses me.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
They're coming to the top of the stretch. Newspaper of record turns for home in control. The main threat on the outside, Miss Technicalities trying to close the gap. And they're followed by Dog Tag in third. But now Newspaper of record is set down in the final furlong, and she takes off. Oh, she's pouring it on late. This is one fine filly. Newspaper of record. She won it by 8.
Newspaper of record. She was 3-5 on Breeders' Cup Friday, and she made 3-5 look like incredible value. She had a tremendous start to her career as a 2-year-old, and unfortunately, we saw her kind of go through some growing pains as a 3-year-old. Not quite as effective on the front end this year, but boy, was she good in that performance and early on in her career. And here's what Chad Brown has done in the Miss Grillo. Completely dominant in this race, and what those horses have gone on to do in the Breeders' Cup.
Yeah.
4 Breeders' Cup juvenile turf filly victories.
Well, Marin was the one that put him on the map, right? Everybody didn't really know who Chad Brown was until that grade crossed the wire first at Santa Anita, and it was like, oh, okay. We got a North American trainer that can compete with all these other guys here coming over from Europe, and then year after year after year. And the thing is, you see on there, longevity, a lot of those fillies and mares have ran for 2-3 years after that, Greg.
7-time winner of the Miss Grillo. 4 have gone on to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. He's got 2 in this one. Let's head downstairs to Maggie Wolfendale.
But what's ironic about the Miss Grillo Stakes is that the mare that it's named after, well, she saw most of her success as an older mare and more so on the dirt. After winning 6 of 11 starts in her native Argentina, including the Argentine Derby, she was purchased by Hall of Fame trainer Horacio Loro and came to America. And although she won 2 Diana handicaps, her best performances came in the Pimlico Cup handicap, including her second of 3 victories in the race, in which she carried top weight of 124 pounds and went on to win by 40 lengths. In fact, you could see her jockey, Con McCreary, standing up in the irons and bowing and waving his cap to the crowd. She would come back the next year and break the world record for the 2.5-mile distance of the Pimlico Cup handicap in 4 minutes, 14 seconds and 3/5. So yeah, it wasn't Mount of 16th on the turf course, but that's what we have here for today's Miss Grillo Stakes, in which we've seen some greats such as Chelsea Flower and Risk Averse, and also eventual champion Lady Eli take down. As we'll take a look though, as I mentioned, Lady Eli at the 2-4 trainer Chad Brown, and both of which stretching out in distance. Number 2, Jazik, she was the victor that day back on August 28th. She's by Kingman, and he was kind of best at the mile and those middle distances. But physically, she actually looks like one that would prefer 5.5. She's a bit smaller, but what I can say is that she's moved forward from that debut. She's put on some muscle weight. She just looks stronger. It's just, will she be successful in only her second start with the mile and a 16th? Now, her stablemate on the outside, finishing just a half a length behind Selflessly, she kind of was bothered a bit by her stablemate and got pushed out. Not necessarily her Jazik's fault, kind of a weirdly run race, but I think physically she looks like the 2 that should relish the stretch out in distance. She's this big, strapping daughter of More Than Ready. I love what I'm seeing from her, and in fact, because she's a bigger type, she looks as though she's moved forward in the opposite direction, that she's fitter, she's tighter coming out of that debut race. We'll see how both of these horses will do as Chad Brown looks to capture his 8th Miss Grillo. Now, trainer Michelle Nevin, she'll send out a duo in here, both of which New York breds, but coming off the back of a big performance is number 3, My Sassy Sarah. And I remember talking to owner Larry Goitschman about her, and he had high hopes for her. So I can see why he was high on her, as she broke her maiden at second asking, going the 6 furlongs here. She's feeling good. She looks tremendous. She's kind of doing the Zenyatta walk down here. Whether she stretched out successfully, I'm slightly on the fence about. I'm not 100% sure, but I just really think she's doing well off the back of what was a blowout performance. Greg?
Had a lot go wrong in that race, as Gary mentioned, and still overcame it all to break her maiden in a stake in the P.G. Johnson Crystal, the 4 filly in here for John Kimmel. As you see prices from Churchill Downs, this is a talented 2-year-old, Necker Island, who may have a future.
Yeah, and he's in the right hands. Stanley Huff is such a patient, very good trainer. Had the horse crank first time out, and it just shows you stats. Gary and I know that the horse has improved in Stanley Huff's barn better, but he was 0 for 11, but he's got a real horse there and a horse that's going to be moving onwards. And that was a nice win at Churchill because I think the horse that ran second is a good horse, too, for Brendan Walsh.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
And the winner, I think we can look forward to him stretching out.
Yeah.
And having a great future.
Post parade coming up for our feature race. This grade 2 Miss Grillo that Chad Brown has simply owned over the course of his career. Incredible. Looking for an 8th. He'll have 2 tries to get it done. Our post parade brought to you by OCD Pellets. Build stronger bone. Go to OCDpellets.com for more information. We start things off with Ava K's girl, Michelle Nevin. Winner first time out, going 5.5 at Saratoga.
Yeah, and I didn't think she wanted any part of that 5.5 furlong. She was far back and came with a strong rally in that race, and I think she's looking to run all day long.
Jazik, 1 of 2 for Chad Brown. Irad Ortiz Jr. aboard. Of course, he rode Lady Eli to a win in this race.
Yeah, this horse exploded. I mean, they didn't go fast, but was 7th in the blink of an eye, crossed the line first in about 1/8 of a mile.
Jose Lezcano and my Sassy Sarah, who won second time out, another Michelle Nevin runner.
Yeah, and she was very impressive doing that. And for those of you out there that use the buyer speed figure, she's got the biggest figure in this race.
Won by 4+ lengths. It was against New York Bred Company, but it was impressive. Chris Stahl, P.G. Johnson winner as a maiden at Saratoga.
You know, the P.G. Johnson I thought was so impressive because she was wheeled back after a DQ where she was much the best, and Joel Rosario will retain the mount. She's the one to beat.
English Breeze for David Dunk. She was 3rd in that P.G. Johnson behind Chris Stahl.
She was the reason that Chris Stahl was taken down. I thought there was a little bit of grandstanding there by Manny Franco. That's why it was so controversial.
Sparkling Sky, Todd Pletcher moved up to 2nd via DQ debut and then won next out at Saratoga.
Yeah, sort of franks that race, right? It makes the 4, 5, and 6 all legit in here. And Pletcher and this filly proved second time.
Chad Summers been trying to get wicked title on the turf each of the first 2 tries. Now comes the turf debut finally in Stakes Company.
Yeah, she won on the fast track on the off the turf, going 7/8 of a mile. It was a slowly run race, but if he's right and she likes the turf, which he must think she's going to, he's just going to have to keep an eye on her.
And the other Chad Brown filly, and interestingly, the only one not nominated to the Breeders' Cup, Selflessly.
Yeah, and this horse is actually a maiden. And if you watch the trip, it is correct. This is the most bunched up field I've ever seen. There was like 10 horses across the racetrack, and this filly just missed losing by about 1/2 a length. But there was like, between the 9 fillies, I would say 5 lengths. So to me, that makes it feel like the race wasn't as good.
All right, let's go back to Chris Stahl, who is our favorite, the 4 filly in here, daughter of Palace Malice. And right from the start, there were problems.
Yeah, she lunged out of there, and I thought she would be more forwardly placed. She came from out of it when she won her first race, well, crossed the finish line first in her first race. And just, I love the way that she just gathered herself up, got into a rhythm, and slowly got herself into the race, Paul.
Yeah, and then you can see her going completely wide. You see English B sort of took the inside route, actually got a better trip, completely better trip, and Cristal just ran over the top of her. So the people that think that maybe English Breeze can turn the corner, I don't know how, unless it's just a different ball game, and English Breeze had to alter a tiny bit there, but Cristal just outran her from the get.
Gave Palace Malice his first black type win. And all those issues, still able to overcome it. That is the sign of a horse with a lot of talent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
As we take a look at, let's not forget who owns this race. It is the trainer of this one right here, Chad Brown's Jazik. Of course, he also has Selflessly the 8, but 5-2, 9-2 respectively on those 2. But that's because of the presence of this one right here, Cristal.
Yeah, she's a beautiful filly, and she really should be undefeated, which she is. I I was thinking of a different horse that had been disqualified first time out. So, yeah, I apologize.
You know, we
No,
said
she was DQ'd first time out.
Yeah, she did, yeah.
Yeah, she was DQ'd first time out. So
that was the one where Chris Landeros went right-handed, and it was, here's the 5, English Breeze. Now, winner first time at 9-1. Both these fillies got your 2 favorites were 40-1 and 9-1 first time out. Now they're 2-1 and 7-2 in the stake here. But in the PG Johnson, she was right behind Cristal. But after watching that break at Cristal, I mean, was she like 4 lengths better?
she was much better, and I thought that she still won with something left.
Yeah.
I mean, she was slow. It took her a while to get into gear. She's got a huge stride to her. But, yeah, I mean, it was like her gate opening up 3 lengths after the other ones did. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But maybe that's the way she wants to run anyways, from off the pace that far.
But now, look, you're facing this group. The competition's just going to get tougher and tougher. You don't want to keep giving your fields these kind of advantages.
No, you don't. There's a couple horses in here. I even give a little bit of a look to the biggest long shot on the board. Angel Cruz, if a lot of people remember him, he won the jockey foot race at Saratoga by about 48 lengths. He had to be the fastest jockey I've ever seen in my life about 2 years ago at Saratoga when they did that. It was unbelievable. He's been riding in Maryland here and there, and Chad Summers brings him in, and I think this horse could be lone speed and try to get away from this group, so not the worst 43-1 shot, but when you look at some of these other horses in here, can Sparkling Sky cause an upset in here? Improved an awful lot in the second start for Todd Pletcher, whose horses do run better here at Belmont, or have.
6-1 is too high on Sparkling Sky. The way she improved the second out, if she takes another step forward, which she's going to have to today, but I think many of these horses in here are going to take big steps forward. Selflessly, who's still a maiden, was beaten by Jazik last time for Chad Brown. You've got to figure she's going to improve another 5 or 6 lengths in here today. So, Sparkling Sky at 5-1. But I think everybody's a fair price. Even I thought that Cristal might be a shorter price than what she is right now.
Yeah, I actually thought she would be too, with all that trouble she had and overcame it.
Didn't you think the one had a little bit of a look?
Yes, I do think that the one has
15-1.
Has a
I mean,
good,
I know New York bred. I get it.
It was the way she won that race.
I thought she was okay. Yeah.
I thought of the Michelle Nevin runners. I thought my Sassy Sarah, the 3, was the one to look out for, but you never know. Let's check downstairs with Acacia Courtney.
Greg, thank you. I did have the chance to catch up with trainer Dave Donk, who has English Breeze in here, and he did say preferably down the road, as she's a big scopy type of filly, she's going to want to go a little bit longer, and this is a big test for her. He did say that she's been a bit green in her first couple of starts, and obviously her debut race was a huge performance, and then stepping up in the PG Johnson last time proved that she belonged in that type of company, and it was very encouraging to him and the Funky Monkey partners. He did say if she won today, they would take a look at going on to the Breeders' Cup. But again, given the fact that she'll probably want a little bit longer and she has been a bit green, it may not be the preferred stance for the connections, but she has been training very well and taking a big step forward. We'll see if she can handle the test today, Greg.
Thank you, Acacia. 7-2 on the Daughter of English channel. Third, bid 3 parts of a length to Cristal in the PG Johnson. The rematch coming up here with Manny Franco back aboard. Meets leading rider. Having a tremendous Belmont as we see a rider off. That is John Velasquez on the 1 Ava K's girl. We'll let the starting gate crew get her in and then he'll up aboard.
Must be nice. Luz Rosario. Who I get to call? Call a Hall of Famer, 1-800 Hall of Famer to put on my horse, right?
How about that? Did a nice job filling in out on the West Coast, and here
with Midnight Bisou,
Midnight Bisou, in that Beldame victory. Filled in for Baffert out on the West Coast. A couple of Grade 1 wins in 2-year-old races. It is the Grade 2 Miss Grillo. Cristal looking to follow up her PG Johnson win with a victory in the Miss Grillo and move on to the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Let's go to Larry Collmus.
Just one left to come forward here selflessly. Javier Castellano about to come up to the outside stall. She steps forward and goes in. They're all in line. Riders off of Ava K's girl. John Velasquez getting off for a moment here as she's acting up a bit in the starting gate. And it looks like they're going to take her out of the gate for now. So a bit of a delay here as Ava K's Girl has gone behind the gate. John Velasquez is getting back aboard, and they'll look to reload now. Others are standing well. And Ava K's Girl's going back in. So once again, they're all in line. They're off in the Miss Grillo. Ava K's Girl came out of there pretty well. So did Jazzik on the outside. They're joined farther out by Wicked Title and Selflessly. And then it's English Breeze. Toward the inside comes My Sassy Sarah as they race around that turn and head to the backstretch. And then it's back to Sparkling Sky, and Cristal takes her spot at the rear of the field and sits well behind here. She's a good 13 lengths off the lead onto the backstretch. So the leader is Ava K's Girl, who was prompted on the outside by Wicked Title through an opening quarter mile in 24.47 seconds. Selflessly is 3 lengths behind them. Jazzik is to her inside, and then comes English Breeze, followed by My Sassy Sarah. Sparkling Sky, with 9 lengths to make up, has 3.5 on Cristal, who is still well behind at this stage of the race. The first half mile was in 48.84 seconds, and now it is Wicked Title who is scampered clear here. A 73-1 long shot has opened up a 4.5 length lead into the far turn. Ava K's Girl, Jazzik slips through on the inside of her, and then it's Selflessly moving 3 wide on the turn. English Breeze is going to come 4 deep. My Sassy Sarah's saving all the ground. Sparkling Sky's under pressure, and Cristal is last, but she's getting closer. She's 6 lengths behind as they come to the top of the stretch, so they've caught up here to Wicked Title, and now it is Selflessly to the front. On the inside is My Sassy Sarah. Jazzik is down toward the inside. English Breeze, Sparkling Sky. And on the far, far outside, Cristal. It is Selflessly in front as they come down to the wire. Cristal charging late, but Selflessly does it. Cristal was second. It was very close for third between Jazzik and Sparkling Sky.
Whose race is this?
It's a joke.
Chad Brown for an 8th time, Selflessly. Not nominated to the Breeders' Cup. I don't think that'll be an issue for Klarovich Stables. Gets the win here, and wow, did Cristal leave herself with a lot of work to do.
Yeah, once again, I mean, she was out the back. Larry called it one time 13 lengths back, and had to lose a lot of ground shifting out. We talked about the rails being out yesterday. Tough to overcome when you've got to swing out. She still ran a heck of a race to be second in here.
Yeah, and this Chad Brown, I mean, when I saw this horse close to the pace, you knew the way this horse finished last time that they're just not going to go by him late here. The 2 in the 3 try to carve out a trip on the rail, and you can see there's Cristal with those big, long strides. And I think you're right, Gary likes the racetrack, but I think the 7 Wicked Title opening up that big length and going 113, which is really not that fast.
No.
I think maybe Joel thought, oh, they're going faster than they thought, and Selflessly just got the jump. That's it.
Here's what happens in these turf races. When you make a decision or a horse breaks mediocre for you, especially running into this turn right here immediately with sort of the dog leg that jigs out, and then all of a sudden you're hooking the left-hand turn. She lost position, but once you're back there, they're controlling. You've already made your bed. I mean, the deck of cards has been dealt to you. She got away the same as she did the time before, and she's just not too enthused right now of getting into the race. So you can't move into those fractions halfway down the backside, or you're going to come up empty anyway. So
you can see the 5 came out in the 7. That's what was the 6's undoing. The 4 just didn't break. She just didn't break again.
8th win in this race for Chad Brown. Let's go to Acacia.
Greg, thank you. Yes, Chad, you're pretty good at the Miss Grillo and productive going on to the Breeders' Cup as well. With Selflessly breaking her maiden in this race, what does that mean for a race that you've had so much success in?
No, it's special. This horse always trained with a lot of promise all summer. She was a little unlucky in her debut. I thought she was actually fouled by my other horse, and they were so close near the wire. And nevertheless, we treated it as if she won and put both fillies back in this race, and Selflessly was the better today.
Now, you have had 4 Miss Grillo winners go on to win the Breeders' Cup as well. This horse is not Breeders' Cup nominated. Any thoughts for Selflessly moving ahead?
Just talk to the owner, Seth Claremont, about that and see what he wants to do. But, you know, my feeling is that we go on if she's sound and doing well.
Have to be encouraged by how she ran today.
Yeah, she ran great, and as you can see, that she handled mile 16th, you know, just fine. But I think her best distance will actually be a mile.
Chad, thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Greg, not too bad in the Miss Grillo for Chad Brown.
They should just rename this.
Maryland bred too, by the way.
Chad Brown Invitational. 8-time winner of this race will Selflessly be the 5th for Chad Brown to come out of this race and go on to win a Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. That remains to be seen. He runs, by the way, Chad Brown 1-3 in here. Jazik winds up 3rd, but with a little more ground, Chris Dahl, she could be real tough Breeders' Cup weekend. We'll be back. Prices coming up from the Miss Grillo. Nightcap ahead. Stay with us.
I think the bonus is really interesting. Mr. McInvale, as usual, is thinking outside the box, doing a wonderful job promoting his horse. Buyers will really appreciate having an opportunity like that to come back and run their horses at these top tracks and earn that bonus.
It's a wonderful incentive both for people in the market and people that own these horses. And I mean, what a great bonus it would be for anybody that wins. I think it's wonderful.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
That time at Oaklawn, win a home run. Made for a big night. Bet on your favorite teams at Oaklawn's new race and sports book. Oaklawn, a new level of action, a new level of excitement.
The thermal spring waters our city is named after are known for their legendary healing properties. Their thirst-quenching properties are pretty nice, too. Hot Springs, Arkansas. It's different here. Come see why.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or NYRA Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
Back on America's Day at the Races, Chad Brown wins the Miss Grillo for the 8th time in his career with Selflessly. Klarovich Stables, who of course won it last year with Newspaper of Record. Javier Castellano aboard for the win.
So I guess the P.G. Johnson, if you technically say, was won by a maiden. Now the Miss Grillo was won by a maiden. Selflessly, a filly by More Than Ready, a Grand Slam mare, Uniformly Yours, like I said, bred in the Maryland state, the Maggie Wolfendale state. And if you had that Grand Slam, that's a big Grand Slam for $78.
Do they supplement her?
I believe, and by just to clarify, in case anything we said seemed threw you off, it is, yeah, mile for the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. So from this race would actually be turning back a 16th of a mile.
Exactly.
And for Chris Stahl,
not so good.
No,
not so good. Yeah.
Unless they could figure things out, get her out of the gate a little sharper. That's not been the case though in 3 starts now.
No, it hasn't.
All right, back to Churchill, 9th race coming up, and this is a mile and a 16th on the turf. 2-year-olds in Fenwick Station for Eddie Keneally. Ran in a stake at Kentucky Downs last start, was second in that race at 17-1, and there he is, current favorite at 5-2.
The one to beat in here. This is a son of Magician. We haven't seen a lot of these, at least on America's Day at the Races, and Magician's so brilliant. This horse is won first time out there. Went right into a $500,000 stakes race at Kentucky Downs with those crazy purses they got, Gary. That's a pretty good second.
It's a real good second.
Yeah.
I mean, to start there, it shows me that the horse is athletic. If you get over that, I've talked about it before. If a horse travels over Kentucky Downs and runs well, you need to have an athlete to run on that course. So obviously, this Magician colt has a lot of athleticism.
Well, the remaining half of the entry for Kenny McPeak taking money as well, 7-2 right at his morning line here, son of Algorithms. Sir Wins-A-Lot, who was coming off a maiden victory at Ellis on the turf.
Yeah, and that was a pretty good race that day. Thought that he might be a little bit shorter price than what he is right now.
Yeah, you know, the other horse in here, Greg, the 8, a horse that broke the main on the Presque Isle Downs turf course, and then, you know, went to Colonial Downs, probably getting a little froggy, trying to, you know, go into a little stakes race. Did not run bad first time on turf, and second time around 2 turns. Now you get Robbie Alvarado. Johnny Ortiz is underrated conditioner, and I want to say the horse was around 12-1, somewhere in that area, so maybe for a long shot, the outside horse.
Looking at CB Salute, meanwhile, the 5 who's waiting to move in. Gerard Melanson will be aboard for trainer Shane Wilson. Has been in 2 stakes. Retama, Louisiana Downs. Hit the board last out at 7.5 at Louisiana Downs.
G-Money. He got the money last night on Mosquito Rojo in the Lucas Classic.
Yes, he did.
He's Delta Downs king. He's what Martin Pedroza was the Fairplex.
He was the king of the bull ring.
That's exactly what Gerard Melanson is to Delta Downs.
Travis Stone with the call. Here's the 9th from Churchill.
And the rough. Pretty even start. Memorable mid-pack. Away well. Shackelford's Joy showing speed. Fenwick Station toward the inside is up close. Nicely is there. And on the far outside, Majestic Johns. Shackelford's Joy out to set the pace. Nicely with only mild pressure second on the outside. Memorable's keyed up in behind well. Third a bit restive is that one. Majestic Johns moves up 1 spot to 3rd. Memorable is now 4th and down inside. And right at the hedge is Fenwick Station 5th. More Than Pride is 6th. Or Wins a Lot is wide in 7th. And at the back is CB Salute as Shackelford's Joy heads for the backstretch run. And walk through that opening quarter mile in 24 and 3/5 seconds. So Shackelford's Joy shows the way. Nicely prompts from second on the outside. Majestic Johns is in the clear, racing 3rd, not far behind. Memorable is covered up and more settled 4th and toward the rail. More Than Pride mid-pack 5th. Sir Wins a Lot Fenwick Station as the field heads to far turn. CB Salute is still trailing. And still leading is Shackelford's Joy. Shackelford's Joy's half-mile time, a pokey 50 and 1/5 seconds. Nicely has been sticking with him every step of the way. They're round the far turn together. Majestic Johns is under pressure wide. Memorable set to strike while in behind. Fenwick Station cuts the corner off the turn. More Than Pride's in traffic. Sir Wins a Lot is wide. Top of the stretch. Shackelford's Joy something left. Shackelford's Joy kicks away, spurts away by 3 with a furlong to go. Fenwick Station full stride now. Here comes Fenwick Station popping off the hedge. Has to run down Shackelford's Joy, who's still there. Fenwick Station, resolute rally. Fenwick Station up in time. Running down Shackelford's Joy. Memorable was 3rd.
Fenwick Station finds another gear late stretch for Eddie Keneally and comes and gets Shackelford's Joy. Tried to take him gate to wire.
Yeah, he is an athlete, a quick athlete. This move here, the last 200 yards was something to see.
I can't believe he got up. The 4, I thought, game. What a ride by Julien Leparoux. When he's on, I told Greg, as soon as Julien Leparoux's on the front end, he always has something left, and he was able to put everybody away. And you could tell that Declan Cannon on the 2, he kept waiting and waiting, kept getting backed up behind the other horses that were sort of backing out of it as Julien was getting away. I can't believe this horse ran this horse down, and he was lugging in a tiny bit, still a little green. Great job of handling. Good job by Julien. If you had the 4, that was a tough beat.
50 and 1, 115 and 1 for the 3/4, and able to run this horse down alone in the lead.
Yeah, to close into those slow fractions, and yeah, take nothing away from Shackelford's Joy. Ran a gutty race and even fought back. I mean, he wasn't giving everything when he got to him because his momentum, he tried to come back.
Looks like he was going to go by him by about 2 lengths. Gary's right. He only beat him by a neck.
We're going to take a break in the action. When we return, another look at Code of Honor, Vino Rosso, the disqualification that gave a 3-year-old perhaps a championship in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. We'll talk Breeders' Cup Classic when we return.
Into the final furlong of the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, and Classic Empire wins it in style.
Here's the wire. Classic Empire. He's a champion 2-year-old.
Here's the champ, Classic Empire. Classic Empire.
We're gonna go traveling.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
No medication, no problem. Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there. That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.
And Vino Rosso's in front at the top of the stretch. Code of Honor makes his move on the outside. Tacitus fights on between those two. Preservationist is fourth as Code of Honor and Vino Rosso come stride for stride into the final 16th. It is Code of Honor on the outside. Vino Rosso dead game at the rail. These two will decide a thrilling Jockey Club Gold Cup, and it is very close.
DQ in the Jockey Club Gold Cup as Travers winner Code of Honor now has back-to-back Grade 1 wins as Vino Rosso is taken down.
You know what, guys? This was a beautiful horse race to watch. It was racing at its finest. There was a little bit of scrumming and bumming going on, and the number was taken down. I felt like it was the right call, but I felt like it could have went either way. It was left in three stewards' hands, and they chose to do it the way they did it.
Yeah, you know, listen, I was on air yesterday for the people that didn't know. I had a big win bet on Vino Rosso, and then you take the social media and everybody gets their feelings hurt. We know what's going on. And if you're wearing the Todd Pletcher hat, you have to say what Todd said for his owners. That's just the bottom line. That's life. What Irad Ortiz Jr. is what I want my jockey to do. Do I want him to run into horses? No, but I want my horse to compete. But when I kept looking at this race, twice Code of Honor stuck his head in front until they made contact. So I really feel that they did make the right decision. And to be honest with you, it cost me a lot of money. But I'm being honest with you, the two was going by. Vino Rosso showed a ton of heart for me, and it was a great horse race. I'm with Gary. I think they made the right call.
We'll wait and see if Code of Honor moves on to the Classic. Vino Rosso, though, he is moving on to the Classic, and he's a Grade 1 winner at Santa Anita. That came earlier this year. Meanwhile, last night, under the lights, late at night in the Lucas Classic, Mosito Rojo with the victory, and this was a great stretch duel as well.
Yes, it was, and he was placed in a perfect position by Gerard Melanson early on in the race, just stalking on the outside, ground down the second place finisher there. I thought it was a great race.
Two win machines, one that wins races in Louisiana and one that won races all over, but G-Money got the money there.
And then a shocker in the Awesome again. Everyone thought McKenzie would stride along to the Breeders' Cup Classic in his backyard as the horse to beat, but no, Mongolian Groom at a monster price scores the huge upset here.
Yeah, and when I watched this race last night, I thought McKenzie was going to just roll by him at the head of the stretch. And Mongolian Groom found more. The race was run fast. The number that came back on this horse from Equibase was 126. And huge speed figure, so it was a fast race.
Not nominated to the Breeders' Cup, by the way, Mongolian
Groom. How about a Belcedeo? I mean, how about the couple weeks this kid has had? I mean, finally getting a chance. He's on another big horse today at Santa Anita. And you could see in that replay, Mike hit McKenzie one time in his tail switch, Gary. He stopped because Mike was like, let me handle him with care. We got a Breeders' Cup Classic to go to. But does that worry you a tiny bit when his tail went swishing?
I didn't like it. I've never seen him do that before. Apparently, Bob said that he doesn't like the whip, but he flashed his tail twice coming through the stretch. And I don't remember. Maybe I haven't seen Mike hit him before. But
yeah, maybe it's true too.
That was new to me. But I think he was just watching it several times now, multiple times. I think he was just flat outrun yesterday.
Now, my worry, and I know it's your worry, does he want a mile and a quarter,
I don't
McKenzie?
know. That's everybody's question.
Yeah.
I don't know if he wants a
Beat
mile
by
and a
gift
quarter.
box at a mile and a quarter. Now beat again.
I think we all thought the talent of Mackenzie would take him to a mile and a quarter. Now you're starting to see these 3-year-olds, and it happens a lot, and Gary can attest to it. 3-year-olds compete when it comes to Breeders' Cup Classic time at that time of the year.
That's when they start to catch up. All right, so big upset yesterday. We still have the Grade 2 Zenyatta to come. Let's check in out at Santa Anita with Michelle Yu.
Today's win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Distaff is named after the great mare behind me. That is Zenyatta. She took down the Breeders' Cup Classic right here at Santa Anita, and now one lucky filly will get a win and you're in. That is all entry fee paid berth into the Breeders' Cup Distaff coming up here in the first weekend of November. Now, Ollie's Candy already has a win and you're in under the belt, taking the Clement Hirsch down at Del Mar. But a couple other fillies, including Secret Spice, drawn along the rail, and Paradise Woods, are both seeking to have their entry fees paid by winning this race. Secret Spice and Ollie's Candy threw down on the Clement Hirsch, but Paradise Woods has been training like a freight train here, and we'll see which one of these ladies will be heading to the Breeders' Cup Distaff, all fees paid.
Michelle, thank you. We look forward to it. And for Paradise Woods, another chance she's hoping for at the Breeders' Cup Distaff, third in that race back in November of 2017.
Yeah, and just mentioned that Abel Cedillo is riding Paradise Woods this time out. Mike Smith not aboard. The reason for that, well, he's got a filly that he didn't ride yesterday that he's already got a date with. And so this kid's been on fire. Paradise Woods training outstanding right now.
Yeah, that, of course, is Midnight Bisou, who Gary's alluding to, has a perfect year going on and is in the conversation for Horse of the Year.
Yeah, and a lot of people forget that Paradise Wood, 5 years old now. When she was a 2-year-old, she won her debut by a pole. She was a favorite in the Kentucky Oaks at age 3, and she just really hasn't progressed. And she's the type of horse, though, if you leave her on the front end by herself, she can be a dynamo.
The problem is her race 3 races back was a huge race for her. It was the Paradise Woods everybody thought that she was going to be.
Yeah.
She stumbled the start before last, and then she was off slow last time. She can be a little bit of a head case. She's not an easy filly to be around. John Sheriff's great with those types, and he got her to relax. Got a lot more weight on her, and she's a different filly than what she was. But the whole key is going to be the start for Paradise Woods.
We'll have that race coming up a little bit later in the show. Right now, it's the nightcap at Belmont. 7 furlongs on the turf here. $40,000 maiden claiming race. And as we expected, the one we thought would be to beat What's to Blame, who is dropping in for the lowest level he has run at yet for Christophe Clement.
Yeah, the one to beat. And Christophe, he really drops horses. And again, I talk about this all the time. People drop horses when you have a gelding here by Blame. This one for Oakwood Stables. Trying to cross that line, so the maiden 40 can it probably push. Maiden 75, people don't dip in for 75. It's almost like a maiden special weight race. Maiden 40 is a drop.
It's a huge drop.
Yeah.
Trust me, that 75,000. I think it's the best condition. It gives people options where they don't have to dive right into the deep end, and you can afford. If I lose them and win the prize money, it's a good trade here. And a lot of times you'll see a maiden 75. Well, we just saw it with Wayne Lucas's colt there at Churchill Downs. He ran for maiden 75 first time out, come back second time out, and almost won a maiden special.
Here comes our post parade. We start off with a Chad Brown 4-year-old monkey. See Monkey Do was off for over a year. That comeback race left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, and I don't know if they just went too fast for him early. They did, and he just backed up. Like, he wins this race with this one, he is the king.
English Humor, we've already established he might be up there. Mark Hennig in for attack for the first time.
Yeah, and he's getting better a little bit. I like this horse today. He ran a decent race, split the field, got beat 7 lengths sprinting last time out.
We jumped to Larceny at 6-1 in here. Kieran McLaughlin.
Yeah, and this one beaten 4 lengths last time out. First time for Kieran McLaughlin last time. So expect a little more improvement today.
First time starter for Danny Gargan. Good Solution.
By the way, the Ford Camouflage kitten, well named. She just went right by us, didn't she? Real Solution. Danny Gargan thought that this one needed to go a little bit longer.
Here's the favorite. What's to Blame? Joel Rosario on board for Christophe.
Yeah, and like I said, this is, I think, a significant drop. And if he runs back to his last 2 races, that's going to get the money here.
Loaded Joe also dropping in class. Has been in state bred maiden special weight in all 5 starts.
Yeah, and this one's got speed. Could be the pace setter in here.
And on the outside, Big Wonder for Napal, Chatterpaul, speed outside.
Well, the last time Pablo Fragoso saddled the horse here at Belmont in the last race. This is his second mount. He brought home a 64-1 shot that would gate the wire. So I don't know if it could strike again. 9-1 today.
That's your field. We're approaching the 4-minute mark to post here in our finale on this Sunday afternoon. We've had quite a weekend here at Belmont Park. We'll see how we close things out. Coming up, of course, more ahead from Churchill Downs and the Zenyatta from Santa Anita when we come back.
Racetrack Television Network brings you every race, from every track, on every screen, every day. With monthly packages starting as low as $5, RTN gives you great value and access to more live HD streaming and race replays than anyone. Visit RTN.tv today to sign up and watch on almost any device, including Roku and Amazon Fire. Use promo code TRYRTN for a 5-day free trial.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Welcome back to America's Day at the Races. We're ready to wrap up the card and the racing week here at beautiful Belmont Park with race 9. His horses are warming up on track, and we'll start with the Chad Brown runner, who just grabbed his 8th Miss Grillo victory. He comes right back in here with Monkey See, Monkey Do, who came off of a big layoff last time out and will now turn back slightly to the 7-furlong distance. Not an easy distance, certainly, but I do think that he needed that race last time out. He's kind of a big, robust-looking horse, and I think he's improved a little bit as far as fitness goes. He just looks like the type of horse that carries his weight, but certainly should be sharper and more fit than what we saw from him last time. The 3 English Humor was a horse that impressed me in the flesh, getting a chance to watch him. He's very much on his toes, and I think with the drop in class and the stretch out, he looks super fit. I think we're going to see him more forwardly placed today. Hopefully he keeps his mind straight as they get closer to the gate, but I did like what I saw from him as he didn't get out of the gate well last time out. The 8, What's to Blame, is the horse to beat, and 3-2 right now. It is a significant drop in class, and I think this 7-furlong distance is absolutely perfect for him. Looked perfect in his coat and in his weight. Again, I tried to get a little bit cute in here with the horse second off the bench, but this is by far the one to beat. The 9, Loaded Joe, has speed, but he was very keyed up. They had to keep him away from the rest of the horses in the paddock. Just acting up a little bit when he first stepped on track as well. Seemed to have settled a little bit now, but hopefully, Greg, he's able to conserve that energy, because he's going to need it to use that speed as he breaks from the outside post as they head to the gate for the 9th.
Acacia, thanks, and it looks like he could have company of the horse to his outside as well. And Big Wonder, who also has speed, and even Camouflage Kisser, the 4, who has shown speed sprinting in here. But What's to Blame, guys? Deserving favorite, very short price at 3-2. The horse who beat him last time, that was the first-time starter, I want to say, for Jorge Abreu. That was one of his 4 debuters that won this meet, and he won with an 86 buyer first time out.
Yeah, and I think this horse is going to get a good trip. Just a good stalking trip, just off the pace. That nice speed to the outside, and going to give him something to follow to cross over, get over and save some ground.
There's a digital footprint, too, Chad Brown runner, right? I mean, like, you're right. What's to Blame's been facing a lot better. He's going to take a lot of beating here. Here's the 8. A lot. I'm interested what the 6 does. Good solution. Firster.
Firster by Real Solution out of a Fusaichi Pegasus mare. Derby winner back in 2000 for Danny Gargan. Meet leading rider Manny Franco on the board the first time of the 6, who's at 12-1 on the board. There's the 4 moving in. That's Camouflage Kisser. Should be part of this early pace, you would think, and might give some a brief throw here at 53-1. But there's...
I got to throw it 72 to 1 with my 7 in the last race.
Yes, she did. Might have a future and maybe some easier company down the line on turf.
I think sprinting, yeah.
It's the nightcap. What's to blame? The 8. Drop down in class, the 1 to beat. Let's go to Larry Collmus for the call.
All in line. Got one acting up here is English Humor. Antsy and the starting gates open up the front of the stall there. Gates are being closed. And looks like the rider's off of English Humor. Jose Lescano has hopped off. And English Humor has been backed out of the starting gate here. Gets the okay from the veterinarian, and Jose Lescano gets back aboard and will reload. They're all in line. They're off. And it is Loaded Joe out for the lead. There goes Monkey See, Monkey Do. Now coming on through to battle for the front, and it's these two who kick on. Opening up from Big Wonder, away running in 3rd position. English Humor is 4th on the inside by 2.5. Larceny follows in 5th. Then Good Solution, followed by What's to Blame on the outside. And a break of another 3 lengths more back to Camouflaged Kisser. It's Loaded Joe as they make their way into the far turn. The leader, Big Wonder, is running in 2nd. These two 1-2 now from English Humor. Monkey See, Monkey Do has been reined back to 4th on the inside, but is still in hand here and 2.5 lengths off the lead. Then it's Larceny to the outside, followed by Good Solution. What's to Blame has 6 lengths to make up. Camouflage Kisser at the back of the pack. Round the far turn, Big Wonder on the outside, 46.26 that half mile. Loaded Joe, a neck back 2nd on the inside. And then it's English Humor in 3rd. Monkey See, Monkey Do is 4th in behind them and riding the rail to the top of the stretch. And then on the far outside, trying to put in a bit is What's to Blame. They're into the stretch. Loaded Joe on the inside, losing the lead to Big Wonder. It's Big Wonder drifting out in front. Farther out, What's to Blame is putting in a bid in the center. And coming through on the inside, Monkey See, Monkey Do in English Humor. Big Wonder keeps drifting out. Here comes the wire. It's going to be a photo finish that looked like it was English Humor, who was on the wire with Monkey See, Monkey Do and Big Wonder. And then What's to Blame.
Maybe English Humor here dropping in class for the first time in for attack for Mark Hennig. This is tight at the wire.
Yeah, in between, there's like 5 horses in a blanket finish here, and it
3-10-2-8.
3-2-10-8.
3-10-2-8. And Pablo Fragoso almost pulled off another upset with the 10. He kept lugging the 8 out though. I wonder if they're, I mean, the 8 never stopped riding. Rosario, but he kept him out in the middle of the racetrack. While he was lugging out, the 3 was sneaking in between horses. Oh, I think yeah, this is 3. I'm going to call it 3-10-2-8, boys.
Let's see.
8-1 on English Humor. It's on an English channel.
Paul, what I saw, I thought that What's to Blame, when they came off the turn, and Joel really put him into a deep drive. He was trying, excuse me, he was trying to lug in, and he had the other horse inside of him, and he couldn't let his horse drift over. He was going to cause interference. Yeah, and it broke the momentum of his kick.
Well, and again, Gary pointed out to us, rail out, that made life real difficult. 27 feet rail out made life tough for What's to Blame, who was pretty far back early, had to swing wide around that turn to try and get up in time, and not enough punch late at even money. So an even money favorite defeated here in the last. English Humor, it looks like your winner, although not official. There it is. 3-10-2-8. Good eyes, Paul LoDuca.
Great eyes. And he didn't have to use my glasses today.
Although they do look good on him. We already established. We're going to get him some for the show.
Yep.
New info. Use Pablo Fragoso when he comes to New York.
Wow.
I'll be at the airport tonight. I'll get you something.
Give me the prices from the nightcap to conclude the Belmont card. We're going to head out to the Grade 2 Zenyatta at Santa Anita coming up. Grade 1 winner, Secret Spice for Richard Baltus. And Little Red Feather in action when we come back.
This proven son of Giants Causeway has sired 4 millionaires, including Claiborne Farm stallion Lee. Recent top runners include Cutting Humor, winner of the Grade 3 Sunland Park Derby, plus 3-time graded stakes winner Sharp Samurai, and international star Shamal Nibras. This year, his 2-year-olds have brought prices up to $310,000. First Samurai, standing at Claiborne Farm.
I think the bonus is really interesting. Mr. McIntyre, as usual, is thinking outside the box, doing a wonderful job promoting his horse. Buyers will really appreciate having an opportunity like that to come back and run their horses at these top tracks and earn that bonus.
It's a wonderful incentive both for people in the market and people that own these horses. And I mean, what a great bonus it would be for anybody that wins. I think it's wonderful.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets.
Rushes out of there to take the lead.
It's easy on your computer or NYRA Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates.
Off the turn with a link to the half lead.
Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
It's America's original sport, and no one covers it better than americasbestracing.net. From the sport to the lifestyle, the best races, horses, and destination venues, cocktails, gambling, fashion, and more. americasbestracing.net is a sport for you. Live it, love it, bet it.
Back on America's Day at the Races, brought to you in part by Claiborne Farm. 100 years of doing the usual unusually well. English Humor with the win of the nightcap at Belmont, $18.40 to close things out. This is going to result in some pretty big exotics.
It is. I mean, a surprise here as you see the Empire, 3,800, but that pick 5 is very good considering you got the favorite to start it off, and English Humor just
and Performer at 1-2.
Yeah, Performer at 1-2. You got Chad Brown, who's won the Miss Grillo like almost every year. Maybe the English Humor, and maybe Winifred J, I think, played a little bit bigger going gate to wire, and he crushed that field.
Yeah, he did. He won by multiple lengths in that turf sprint. As we head to the West Coast, and the Grade 2 Zenyatta started off her career perfect, 19 for 19. Oh, was she special. Let's head out to the West Coast, and again, check in with Michelle Yu.
Secret Spice, your current favorite right now. I'm joined by the founder and managing partner of Little Red Feather Racing, Billy Koch. Billy, we always see her forwardly placed, but from the rail today, do you feel like your hand is a little forced?
Not really. She has natural speed, and I think Pratt's going to put her in the race. You've seen how the track has been playing for the last 2 days, so I think it's important that he's up there.
What did you think of her race in the Clement Hirsch? I mean, she did everything but win.
Yeah, she really ran hard, and I thought maybe she, flattened out a little bit, but that was not the case. She ran a really big number, and Pratt said she was really running. Give credit to Ollie's Candy that day. She ran an amazing race, and she we're hoping to turn the tables today.
And talk a little bit about how she's been working in the mornings, because it doesn't seem like she's missed a beat in the morning.
She's been awesome. I mean, she loves this racetrack. So all 3 of her career wins have been here at Santa Anita. So we're excited. We're just going to go out and enjoy it.
Good luck.
Thanks, Michelle.
Guys?
Michelle, thank you. And here is Little Red Feather, Secret Spice, Grade 1 winner, and Flavian Pratt rides.
She's hit the board 9 out of 12 times, $508,000 in earnings.
Mongolian Humor. We saw Mongolian Groom with that upset over McKenzie yesterday, and this one has won back-to-back starts. It's a huge step up in class.
Yeah, it is, but don't let it fool you. Vladimir Serin is one of the most underrated trainers on those grounds, and this horse is getting bet a tiny bit at 9-1. I wouldn't be surprised this horse hits the board.
Yeah, I should clarify, used to be with the same connections of Mongolian Groom, and now, yeah, with Vladimir Serin. That was Anabesh Gambat, claimed by Vladimir a couple starts back. Here's Paradise Woods.
I like what I see here. Just nice and relaxed. This isn't her. When she's like this, she fires big races. The key for her is going to be getting a good start, not getting left.
Ollie's Candy beat Secret Spice in that Clement Hirsch last out at Del Mar.
Give credit to Billy Koch. He gave props to this filly for beating him. He looks like he lost his voice rooting for Secret Spice, but it was a heck of a race.
LaForce for Patty Gallagher. Drayden Van Dyke, aboard winner of the Grade 2 Santa Maria back in June.
Yeah, and they tested her on the turf last time. Back to her favorite surface right now, and she's currently at 6-1.
And big long shot in here. Daughter of Miz and Mast, Cadetre for David Randall.
Yeah, this is a horse, the gray on the outside. I would think maybe cut out the fractions, but not fast enough. Will be part of the pace, but I would think Secret Spice will try to control things, or Ollie's Candy. Your two favorites are going to be forwardly placed.
We will return to the Grade 2 Zenyatta mile on a 16th, $200,000 on the line. Breeders' Cup Challenge Series continues here in a moment. But first to Churchill Downs and their finale on the card. Travis Stone with the call.
Three-length advantage, 4.5 furlongs out. Double Axel asked to pick it up just a bit back there in second. Inside is Rebecca, who's third. Big Time Delivery covered up still. Inside Wild fourth. Pink Scatalax in the thick of it fifth. Sugar Love is 3 wide. Fire turn 6. 3 more lengths back to La Vida, who started to make some progress inside of Lemon Chill. They're both on the move. 5 more back to Tenacious Jewel, and way out of it is Triple Step. Round the far turn. Sweet Carly still going strong. The lead is 3 lengths as they come for the top of the stretch. Double Axel and Big Time Delivery are together second and third. Sugar Love comes wide off the turn with Lemon Chill top of the stretch. Sweet Carly still in front, but they're swarming in now. Here's Lemon Chill to the attack. Sugar Love in tight in between. Clear Sailing. Big Time Delivery trying to come up the rail. Inside the final furlong, Lemon Chill got the jump on them all and is kicked away by 2, now by 3. Sugar Love wandering about the track back in second. Big Time Delivery third. Lemon Chill the winner. By 3 in the end, it's tight for second. Sugar Lover, Big Time Delivery. Then it was tight for fourth between La Vida and Sweet Carly.
Somewhat erratic stretch run there from Lemon Chill, trained by Donnie Von Hemel. Joe Rocco Jr. aboard.
Good for the
6-time out winner.
Good for Joe Rocco and Donnie Van Hemel. This horse been knocking on the door. Ran second last time, closed a lot of ground at Ellis Park, and finally gets the maiden done in the 6th lifetime start today.
Yeah, 5-1. Donnie Van Hemel's barn has been on fire. You can't leave anything out of his barn. So this horse got bet 10-1 down to 5-1, and I'm with Gary. Joe Rocco's another guy that doesn't get a lot of respect. He's a good rider.
One of the good guys.
Yeah.
Back to Santa Anita in the Grade 2. Zenyatta still even money on Secret Spice. Let's go back to Michelle Yu.
Thanks, Greg. And while Secret Spice is the favorite, she is going to have to run through some other horses in here. I caught up with Abel Cedillo, who's going to be riding Paradise Woods for the very first time. And he told me this is the horse he's been looking forward to riding all weekend. Yesterday, we saw him have a gate-to-wire theft on a long-shot horse, Mongolian Groom, to win the Awesome again over heavily favored Mackenzie. I asked him, are you thinking something similar today? And he said, that would be nice. I know she has lots of speed. I would like to use it. So we've already heard from Billy about his filly not necessarily needing to be on the lead, but now we have a kind of a confirmation from Abel about wanting to send Paradise Woods, which seems to be her preferred running style. When they've tried to throttle her down previously, it's when she hasn't run as well. Mike Smith has been working her. He's been doing John the favor to get on horse in the morning to make sure he knows her and he has her going good because he's been familiar with her. Her last work especially was just dazzling to me. On paper, it was 59 and change. If you watched it, she was 6-7 wide and just full of run. I also spoke to John Sadler about the 4 Ollie's Candy in here, and he said the reason she's probably not getting as much play is because she's picking up weight from that Clement Hirsch that she won. But she's got 2 things going in her favor, he said. 1 is her versatility, and 2 is the better post because she draws outside the other speed horses in here. All these fillies going to be heavily contested here as they look to take down Secret Spice in the Grade 2 Zenyatta.
Michelle, thank you for that. Yeah, it seems like a tall order in here. Even money on Secret Spice, but Paradise Woods, if she can put in that performance that we saw in the Santa Margarita, she could be right there.
No, listen. Paradise Woods is that athlete or that horse that at any given day can beat a monster horse. But on another day, could face a pitcher that throws 60 miles an hour and strike out 4 times. She's just that kind of horse. But if she breaks cleanly, Gary likes what she sees. She gets to the front end, and she's left alone. She's that type of horse that can just freak on you and keep on going.
Yeah, and what's happened these last 2 races, Michelle described it perfectly. What she's got left, then she wants to rush up. And Mike has to reach up and grab her because it's going to be an impossible task. Well, when he's had to reach up and grab her, she can't get into that rhythm. She puts her head down and just starts sulking and will not finish. And when she gets into that big, long rhythm, that's when she runs a race. So that's why I don't care if she's on the lead or not, but that's why I think it's important that she at least break good. So she's not trying to rush up and catch the leaders.
Yeah, and the other part about this, Gary and I had talked about Richard Baltus, the trainer of the one. You know, this horse won the Beholder Mile. The Clement L. Hirsch, both him and John Sandler realized that race was tough on both of their fillies. They gave them both time. I'm rooting for the 3 to Paradise Woods, but the 1 and 4 look like they're going to be a handful in here.
Be fun to see the rematch here coming up. Secret Spice, she was just outdone after bobbling at the start of that race in the Clement Hirsch as Ollie's Candy was able to get her. Ollie's Candy will break from post 4. Kent DeSormo back aboard for Sadler. And again, this division, Midnight Bijou is the leader and will be a heavy favorite on Breeders' Cup Distaff Day.
After the loss of McKenzie, Midnight Bijou to the Classic?
They have not closed the door on that possibility. First things first. Let's see what happens here. Secret Spice. The favorite for Richard Baltus, Flavian Pratt, about to move in line. We send it out to Santa Anita for the Grade 2. Zenyatta.
They're in the gate. And they're off in the Zenyatta. Secret Spice began very smoothly and has the early lead. Mongolian Humor, Paradise Woods is now hustled up on the outside, and KD Trey 4th, 2 lengths off the lead. Then it's La Force and Ollie's Candy is the trailer. Into the first turn, Secret Spice hugs the rail and wants the lead in front by 2 lengths. Paradise Woods is in second. Then comes Mongolian Humor and KD Trey right together, 4 lengths off the lead. Another 4 back to La Force, who covers Ollie's Candy. Onto the backstretch they go. It's Secret Spice leading by a half length. Paradise Woods in the clear up alongside second. Then it's KD Trey with 2.5 to make up. Mongolian Humor matches strides with her. Ollie's Candy making some early progress along the inside is now just 3 lengths off the pace and getting closer. La Force at the back past the half mile in the Zenyatta. And Secret Spice has been the controlling pace. Paradise Woods. Ollie's Candy takes 3rd. Mongolian Humor between horses. KD Trey losing ground. La Force has to pick it up from behind. Secret Spice, Paradise Woods a half length back in second. It's still 2.5 more to Ollie's Candy, who's going to angle to their outside. La Force has 9 to make up. Secret Spice, the leader at the top of the stretch. Ollie's Candy swings out now for the drive, and Paradise Woods is still very much in the thick of it second. They're in the final furlong. Paradise Woods and Secret Spice. Secret Spice, Paradise Woods. Paradise Woods now takes the lead away from her close to home, and Paradise Woods, what a weekend for Abel Cedillo. This is his coming out party. Paradise Woods wins the Zenyatta. Photo for second between Secret Spice and Ollie's Candy. 4th between La Force and Mongolian Humor.
Frank Miramati with the call. Paradise Woods and young Abel Cedillo. Yeah, indeed. What a weekend for this young man.
Yeah, and I was fortunate enough last week when I was out in Southern California, spending some time at Santa Anita. I was able to talk with him a little bit. Polite kid, very good rider, easy to deal with, I'm told. And his business has really picked up in Southern California. He just showed up, guys.
I wish we can go back to the turn if we can. I know we're at the mercy of their cameras, but he cornered unbelievable on the far turn. Watch him right here, Bill Cedillo. He does not lug out, does not lose any ground. He gets the horse to almost switch leads, Gary, right-handed right here. Watch him just so strong to be able right there to switch right on cue. That won the race right there.
Yeah, well, this filly, you heard Michelle Yu say that her last couple of words have been spectacular. And this filly, to watch her in the morning, she is spectacular to watch. She's a great athlete. She hits her cues right on time. And when they come off the turn and do that, that's a great feeling, guys.
Peek back from Cedillo, and yeah, this was in hand. 3-1-4 finish, Paradise Woods, Secret Spice, Ollie's Candy. Race run like this on Breeders' Cup Distaff Day, does Midnight Bisou have a challenge?
Midnight Bisou's on the plane yawning right now after watching that race. Yeah. But that filly ran right there.
Look at that final time. I know we're not showing it up here, but final time 1:44. The fractions weren't that fast. And these are good mares. That track is deep.
So deep, yeah.
And I think it's important that horses get out there and get a chance to have a couple of workouts over it. That's what Asmussen's doing. I know with Midnight Bisou, and we heard Chad Summers, not Chad Summers, Danny Gargan taking
tacks out there
out immediately, so he can get some work over the racetrack. I mean, these fillies, the old Santa Anita surface, they would have run around there in 140 and change, and that was running 144. So it tells you right there.
And pretty fitting, by the way, John Sheriff, the trainer of Paradise Woods, wins the Zenyatta.
Yeah.
How about that? That's nice to see.
Present himself to his own trophy.
Not bad, right? One of the greats, Zenyatta. And what a job John Sheriffs did, guiding her to victories the first 19 starts of her career. Paradise Woods, not done yet. More in the tank, and a grade 2 victory in the Zenyatta, and likely moving on to the Breeders' Cup Distaff for a date with Midnight Bisou. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. More coming up on America's Day at the Races right after this.
I'm a firm believer you don't put the saddle on the pedigree. I bought him strictly because of his physique, his conformation. And then when you looked at the pedigree, it was the perfect blend. Runhappy was an incredible, incredible racehorse, being supported by Airdrie Stud, who raises an incredible animal. To breed one of their best mares to him speaks volumes. It ended up producing an incredible result in this horse, and we just hope he runs to his looks and his pedigree.
Runhappy, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Each year, a new dream begins. To achieve that dream, you could never rest on past success.
Audible, no doubt about it. He won it by 2.5.
Yoshida storming home in the center. Yoshida! Yoshida has won the one-word.
Wake up, little one. It's time to dream big.
Warfront. This son of Danzig ranks among the world's elite sires. With Grade 1 winners on dirt and turf, and star performers both at home and abroad, Warfront's success as an international super sire is unmatched. Recent Grade 1 winners include Omaha Beach and Preakness Stakes hero War of Will. In the sales ring, his $2.4 million sale topper at Keeneland September was the highest price yearling sold in North America last year. Warfront, standing at Claiborne Farm.
Back on America's Day at the Races, Churchill in the books. Lemon Chill closes out the meet with a victory for Don Von Hemel. Joe Rocco Jr. aboard for the winning ride. And a daughter of Lemon Drop Kid with a victory. Meet leading rider Corey Landry. Meet leading trainer Brad Cox. As we head out west, Santa Anita, Grade 2 Zenyatta, and Paradise Woods gets the victory here for John Sheriffs and Abel Cedillo. Let's go to Michelle Yu.
Thanks, Greg. You could not tie this up any prettier with a bow. The trainer of Zenyatta getting the win here in the Zenyatta Stakes with Paradise Woods, a filly he's worked very hard on. And she's already won this race before back in 2017. I'm joined by Abel Cedillo. It was just yesterday you won your first Grade 1. Can you even explain what you're feeling right now?
Well, I never, I don't know how I feel now, but I just feel great. And thanks to those trainers and owners, they give me the opportunity to ride those horses.
I talked to you a little bit before the race, and you told me you were looking forward to riding this filly. You wanted to be able to use your speed. Did the race unfold the way you thought it would?
Yeah, well, Mike told me about that filly. To make sure, keep her clear, and she's going to try hard. And that's what I do. So I try break good, and if somebody go, I'll just sit outside of them, and everything will work perfect.
Yesterday, you had a great day as well. Looking back, between the two races, do you have a favorite one of the pair?
Well, I think all of them my favorite right now. Yeah.
It's nice to be on top, right?
Yeah, it is.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Abel Dio getting his first pair of grade ones this weekend here at the Great Race Place.
That's awesome. By the way, what he just said was great. I want to ask him. He said Mike told him to keep the filly away from the other filly. Why, Gary?
To keep her relaxed so she wouldn't engage the other filly. When you keep distance in between you width-wise, that's how you should
that's
keep a
always
horse
been Mike's
shut down.
move a little bit, huh?
And a few of us.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
And I think it's cool. He's helping the kid. You know,
That's
he's
awesome,
sat with
yeah.
Midnight Bisou, and he's been working Paradise Woods for John because he knows her so well. And Abel, first time he has climbed aboard this filly and gets a grade 1 win. I can't believe she paid $960 today because she's a very good filly when she's right, and she deserves the respect.
Kick and
Well,
ride.
and credit John Sheriffs, too. I mean, it looked like she was done at the end of her 4-year-old campaign.
No, we
and
said
back
this.
with multiple graded stakes now as a 5-year-old.
Yeah, it's true.
He had a filly back in the day that I won this race. I can't remember what it was called back then, but I believe it was this race, a filly named Manastique, that would not eat. I mean, she was just skinny, and she would worry, and he would sit out in front of the stall with a dog bowl with grain in a lawn chair and just feed her bowl at. That's the only thing she would eat at. I wound up winning, I think, 3 grade 1s on her.
He likes to take on those type of horses. I remember he had Morning Line, and I say this all the time. I've never seen a horse in my lifetime. Morning Line won a graded race at Hollywood Park and did not warm up. Actually stood and would not go on the racetrack, stood there while all the horses warmed up. John Sheriffs kept going, are we going to scratch? We're going to scratch. The owner came down and goes, no, put the horse in the gate. And the horse won without a warm-up, just went straight to the gate. I've never seen anything like it.
Well, we'll see if there's any more in the bag of tricks, because he's going to need everything he can get for the next start coming up in the distaff, because after what we saw Midnight Bisou, the year she's put together, again, yesterday ran on Super Saturday here in the Beldame. Sensational. She got tested a little bit in this race, but now perfect 7 for 7 2019 campaign, and she has been a force and a candidate for Horse of the Year.
I think this was good for her. You know, she's got over a month off. It wasn't overtaxing, but she had the dig yesterday, and I don't know if she was in completely high gear. I think Mike, you know, really, or excuse me, Johnny could have maybe pushed if he would have pushed the button earlier, the distance would have been further than what it was. He rode her with a lot of confidence, and once he went to work on her, she extended. But I think this was like a good paid workout for her yesterday.
It is. She's turned into something special, Greg. You don't see horses the way she's won races. Again, we were talking about this yesterday. She's been able, look at her ears. As soon as she crossed the wire, she's like, do you want me to do any more? I mean, she came from off the pace 6 wide at Saratoga and caught a late. Yesterday, she rated inside horses, and that's like the second time she's done that. Like, so to me, where's the weakness? There has not been one. 12 for 18 lifetime. Seems like she likes any kind of racetrack. And look at that 2019 resume, what she's accomplished.
Incredible. At 4 different racetracks and 7 for 7, undefeated, looking to cap off a perfect season in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Or I wonder if connections are more tempted, because they have kept the door open just a little bit to go to the Classic. We'll see. Could be tempting after McKinsey did get defeated the other day. Meanwhile, Jockey Club Gold Cup. Top 2 finishers from your Travers. Code of Honor, Tacitus, taking on older horses for the first time, and nobody wanted the lead, so Vino Rosso, Irad Ortiz Jr. says we'll take it.
I think Vino Rosso, I think he was pretty intent on it. The way he's crouched down on him right now, like a quarter horse rider, and once he gets it, you're going to see his back raise up just a little bit right here. Now going to slow him down. He's controlling the pace.
Yep, he forced it on Jose. Jose didn't know what to do with Tassis. Tassis broke so sharp, and he's like, okay, do I let Vino Rosso go or not? Now what happens here? Preservationist just gets the worst trip of life. You don't want to be 3 wide up on a decent little pace right now. And you could see, actually, Junior Alvarado took Preservationist back and tried to get him on the rail to save some ground, but he just had no punch late because he was keen early again. I think Preservationist needs a big field, Gary.
I don't think he had an excuse yesterday. I really don't.
Really?
I think he was outrun. I don't know why. Jimmy Jerkins didn't seem overly confident before the race. Meantime, Johnny's sitting back there in 4th. He's realizing the pace is just average. Now he's trying to decide, what do I do? Do I go outside? If they decide to wheel out with the Preservationist, I'm going to wind up going 4 wide into the stretch. He winds up just getting in there, and he actually gets in front of Preservationist right here. And in the meantime, Vino Rosso, he's out there just in a good clip right now. Tacitus is trying to make a race of it on the outside, but he's going to fall apart when they hit the quarter pole.
And that tail sticking out by Tacitus, that was the thing that worried me. When I went back and I looked at the Travers, when Code of Honor, you can see, he's a horse that keeps fooling Jose Ortiz. Jose Ortiz looked behind him because he thinks he has horse, but when he presses the button, Tacitus just does not want to go by. He just wants to be part of the party here. Now, this is what happens. Irad Ortiz clears Tacitus. He knows Code of Honor is coming up, and he has to get his horse to compete, and this is what happens. Now, Code of Honor's by him once. Now he's by him twice, but when the next bump comes here, it propels Vino Rosso to the W. Now, the margin of victory is this. You can say that he was never going to go by, and I can say
but
he was never going to buy him, but he was by him. Exactly. That's exactly. I say this a million times. Like, he was never going to go by him, but he was by him.
And you see the left-handed stick on a couple of occasions from Irad Ortiz Jr. as well and Vino Rosso. That didn't help the cause either.
No, it didn't. And here's the thing: is they've decided that they're not going to appeal the judgment that they came with yesterday of the disqualification. I think we all think that was the right call yesterday, but it could have went either way. Just a difference of opinion on how long they took to make the decision. I understand they had to take their time, but the longer they took, the more people have to think about and form opinions.
And now, obviously, it went to the stewards. They made the change, and as a result of that, in the year that began in the Triple Crown, with the stewards making a historic decision, disqualifying a horse who crossed the wire first in the Kentucky Derby, they may have decided a 3-year-old championship with a DQ as well.
I think it most certainly did.
Yeah.
And depending on what they decide to do with him, I think that the front runner for Horse of the Year right now is Midnight Bisou. I really do.
It's with Mackenzie losing yesterday.
Now it's Bricks. Seems like Bricks and
Mortar
Mortar
and Midnight Bisou.
Yeah,
and Midnight Bisou.
Who's, by the way, between races, as you look at the Breeders' Cup Classic, the 1.5 miles, maybe not exactly what he does, so he might cut back actually to the mile. So we'll see come Breeders' Cup, but those are your contenders. Meanwhile, Vino Rosso, Grade 1 winner on the track the Classic will be held at. Let's hear from Todd Pletcher on the DQ.
To me, it was a classic horse race, you know, from the top of the stretch to the finish line, 2 horses hooked up. You know, I thought they brushed. To me, neither horse was ever knocked off stride. Neither horse lost momentum because of it. It was a case of race riding. Irad drifted out a little bit. Johnny drifted in a little bit. Watched a lot of races. To me, you know, I felt pretty comfortable watching the head-on that there would not be a disqualification. I was surprised when there was. Sometimes you're on the right side of them. Sometimes you're on the wrong side. It's you know, it's a tough pill to swallow when it's in a Grade 1 significant race like the Jockey Club. I don't believe there's going to be an appeal. I spoke to both owners last night, and they were sort of split. But with one ownership not wanting to appeal, then you know, they agreed that they would not. So I plan to meet with the stewards today as well. Just I'd like an explanation of what they saw that I didn't feel like I saw the same thing. But you know, seldomly in these appeal situations does anything really come out of it.
And look, Todd Pletcher staying there, didn't knock the horse off stride, but you've been in these situations so many times. Little bumps like that. We saw he had his nose in front on a couple of occasions, Code of Honor. Can it affect your momentum?
When there's inches involved, most definitely. And I talked about it yesterday. Vino Rosso, he's a bigger horse carrying more weight than what Code of Honor is. So you know, if I go up against a bigger boy, I'm probably going to take the worst of it if it's a contact sport. And it turned into a contact sport yesterday that wasn't supposed to be a contact sport. So, in my feeling, that it did more than the distance that he got beat, in the narrow margin he got beat.
The thing that upsets me about it is, like, on social media, like, there's just a lot of people called it hurting. That's not hurting. That's fouling another horse. Hurting is when you hurt a horse that is actually, like, not next to you and about a length behind you, and you hurt him out to not pass you. He lost by this much. I mean, to me, if Vino Rosso wins the race by 2 lengths, they probably don't take the horse down. He won by this much because Code of Honor was going by him. That was the difference for me. And people were thinking that's hurting. It's not hurting. Irad Ortiz Jr. did the right thing. He hit his horse left-handed to try to get his horse to compete. He fouled the other horse. That's the bottom line.
That's why I didn't go on social media last night.
See? Yeah, it's not hurting. Hurting's completely different. When you bang a horse and lose by a nose, when you hurt a horse all the way outside, I get that, but you lose by a length and a half, not by a nose. That was the difference. That's why they made the change.
Another controversial decision involving this 3-year-old division. I know he's taking on older horses, but it may have landed Code of Honor an Eclipse Award, and we'll see if he does, in fact, come back to the Classic, because this was off about a month's rest. He'd had six weeks going into the Travers. He is smaller in stature. Now this tough race, we'll wait and see if indeed he goes to the Classic, maybe Cigar Mile, or if they put him away and we see him
so
as
he's
a
ahead of
4-year-old.
maximum security for both of you?
Oh, yeah. With the Travers win. And,
not giving it up yet, are you, Greg?
Do you give this win? Look, he beat older horses, moved up via DQ. Do you give that as much weight? Is that better to you in your eyes than the Haskell?
To me, it is.
He beat the Whitney winner. I mean, let's be honest, man. And he beat him pretty good. And Vino Rosso.
Well, no, McKenzie. Yeah.
The Woodward win, excuse me. And he's won at the 1.25 mile distance. We know that he likes it. Vino Rosso at Santa Anita. He beat Gift Box, who beat McKenzie. The thing that we're getting to now is who wants this distance and who is the best horse at this distance. We're starting to realize McKenzie might not want the 1.25 miles. We know that Code of Honor, and I think Vino Rosso wants to go 2 miles, to be honest with you. I just don't know if he's fast enough to win the race, but we know both of those horses want to go 1.25 miles.
I think Code of Honor moved to the top of the class with this win.
Most definitely. He did in my eyes, and, you know, I'd be interested with the interview earlier today. He said that so far he looks like he came out of the race extremely well. And, you know, is he going to go to Kentucky? When Maggie mentioned the Cigar Mile, he got that, he kind of giggled. He said, yeah, that's a possibility. So stay tuned where we're going to wind up. But it was an exceptional race yesterday by 2 great athletes, and it's too bad there had to be a loser, and especially the way. But that's the rules of the game.
And we got to give it up for the sire. Noble Mission, the son of Galileo. Won the Jockey Club Gold Cup. Noble Mission, Great Britain mare that's getting Great Britain sire that's standing here, that's getting dirt runners, and they're runners. And Code of Honor, wow, special horse.
Meanwhile, a sprinter by Imperialism.
Wow, a little hint mare, by the way.
In the Vosburg, looked done. Firenze Fire, not running the race that he really wanted to run. He had to be a lot closer than usual, and looked like he's going to win this race over Imperial Hint, coming off a track record-setting performance in the Vanderbilt.
Yeah, and
but he battles back.
This was very similar. It's too bad there had to be a loser here, and I thought that Imperial Hint was beaten inside the last 50 yards, and Javier Castellano hand-riding him in, just showing him his stick, and it's a great horse race right here, guys.
Oh, wow. It really was, Gary. I still can't believe he won this race. I had about 50 people. You and I walked out together yesterday after the race. I had 50 people ask me, how the heck did that little horse come back? Because a lot of people, I think, tried to beat him with the 6. But you made a great point. He was so tight, Javier just had to go to hand ride, and that was the best thing that could happen because the little horse took off as soon as you started riding him hard.
So fun to watch. It was a Super Saturday that lived up to its name. Great drama, great performances. And we still have more to come, of course, next weekend with some win in your in races. Selflessly, Chad Brown, Klarovich Stables, Donner More Than Ready, not nominated, but I would think good chance we're going to see her moving on to Breeders' Cup weekend as Chad Brown wins the Miss Grillo for the 8th time in his career. In Paradise Woods, John Sheriff's Abel Cedillo with another graded stakes win. We'll see you next week.
They're off. Bet the horses anywhere, anytime with NYRA Bets. Rushes out of there to take the lead. It's easy on your computer or NYRA Bets app. Earn valuable reward points on bets. Play in our exclusive promotions and earn cash rebates. Sign up now. Bet $200 and get $200. Bet any track, anywhere, anytime. NYRABets.com.
Coming on strong.
Minute to stardom. On top, coming down to the final 16th, opening up a 2-length lead.
Feel my love for you.
Wild About Star, shining big here in Berry 1.
Oh, why did I wrong?
Testing 1-2. The Star Guitar filly leads Champagne Diva close to home. It's testing 1-2.
Feel my love for you. Coming on strong.
Into the final furlong of the Claiborne Breeders' Futurity, and Classic Empire wins it in style.
Here's the Meyer, Classic Empire. He's a champion 2-year-old.
Here's the champ, Classic Empire. Classic Empire.
Whether you have Derby dreams or Midsummer Derby dreams, this is Tom Durkin to tell you a registered New York bred can take you there.
Diversify!
That New York bred Exact and the Whitney by multimillionaires Diversify and Mind Your Biscuits shows the kind of quality that allowed New York breds to earn more than $93 million on the world stage last year. On-track successes have spurred New York bred sales result. At the March OBS sale, Chestertown sold for $2 million. And this New York bred 2018 yearling brought $1 million at Saratoga. So get with the program at nybreds.com.